Hey, welcome back to week 4 of the Blue Otter League. We've got a really good matchup today. Feedonomics, I'm over here with Raw casting this game. Who do you think's gonna
Hello.
win? Hey, Raw, I think CB's gonna win this game.
Ye- CB, yeah, well,
I got it. I got it
you
in
got
first.
me straight away,
You can't
straight off
choose
the
him.
mark with
You
that
can't
one.
choose him. You can't choose him anymore. I chose him first. That's
Okay,
how it
yeah. So I personally think that I'm going to win because I'm going to
Ooh,
spectate a fantastic game today. So
you're a
we
winner, man.
are getting into it at the moment. Obviously, CB Rush versus CB Ruby. I've been speaking to the teams, and they're not of the same organization. They're just being very confusing. I believe they used to be of the same organization, but I believe Ruby has left, and they're going into picks and bans now. What do you want to see today? What exciting champions? Obviously, we've got Renata, who hasn't been picked in any of my
Really,
games that I've watched.
I want to cast Renata. I'm not gonna lie. She's been really fun the 2 or 3 games that I tried to make her work, and she's got a really fun kit. I would like to see Renata just because she's new. Obviously, you can't pick Renata with Zin's out. That is a banned, forbidden combination, because of
Hmm.
interactions. But I'm just wanting to see League of Legends, man.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
isn't that what we all come for?
One
Let's see.
hundred percent.
I want to see a Jin. I want to see a Silas. I want to see a LeBlanc. I want to see an Urgot. And then a Sejuani. I'll just name champions that I like to play. So I
Okay.
wouldn't mind saying them.
Well, personally, I'd like to see Viego. Viego's always one of my favorites, just because the reset king. I love champions that reset. Katarina, not so much. Bit of an elo inflated champion, in my opinion. Ari, I'm loving it at the moment. As a mid lane main, Ari coming to the forefront again, making me very, very happy. But yeah, just some exciting champions. Maybe a Tristana jumping around everywhere, but just I have one request for today for both CB teams, and that is no Zeri.
Oh,
Please.
really? No
Please
Zeri?
no, Zeri. I don't like
I
her.
thought you were gonna.
I
I thought you were
she.
gonna say no Hole Breaker.
Oh no, you know what? That's been nerfed. If you want to pick it melee, be my guest. Like you can do your own thing. If you're that insecure, you have to side lane with it constantly. Then yeah, we're
If you want to play solitaire League of Legends.
exactly. So yeah, no Zeri for me. I'm such a non-fan of her. Since her release, she's been a pain every single week that I've played against her in my own tournament that I play in. So I am definitely not wanting that. But in terms of performance, these teams have both been performing fantastically. We have CB Rush playing red side, 6-1 currently. Only dropped a single game in 3 weeks coming into this 4 week. Their bot and their mid lane both being absolute powerhouses, hitting massive KDs every single game. Ruby, on the other hand, being 5-3, not too far behind. This could all swing it this week if Ruby have a great week, but overall slightly weaker performances coming in. So what are your predictions before we go into draft of who's going to win, and then we'll do post-draft prediction for each game?
No, I already told you. I think CB is gonna win. But if you wanted me to be a little more, I guess, thorough with my prediction here, I actually
Hmm.
feel like Rush is gonna take this game.
Okay. Yeah,
Hopefully, we'll see if it's in 3. I mean, I would like one of the games that I cast to go to 2 games instead, but we'll see what happens. Like you never know. And who do you feel like is gonna pull out on this
you
one,
know,
bro?
I think that based on, obviously, if we were talking just performance alone, then so far I'd have to give it to Rush. But I think, based on, looking at some of the comps that Ruby's played, they like more supportive drafts. And I think that if Rush don't get an early lead, that Ruby could definitely run away with this best of 3, especially if the first game does go to Ruby. I feel like Rush is such a powerhouse and, super good when they're ahead. But I feel like they're very momentum based. So Ruby do have a chance, to get ahead and get themselves in a good position, assuming that they do well. And the first ban coming out from Ruby being Hecarim.
No horsing around with these picks and bans right off the rip here, Raw. Is kind of what I'm looking at over here. Don't want that mobility. Don't want anybody to be faster. And then on the other side, we have Seraphine getting taken out. And Seraphine kind of strong right now with her buffs. I think she's taking on the up and up, being a little more effective.
Yeah, and Ruby has a bot lane player who does play Seraphine. No Attack does play Seraphine in the bot lane. one of the games they won 2-0-10 on the Seraphine. So definitely a worthy ban, taking away some of that supportive pressure I was talking about. And a second ban looking like it's going to be Samira coming in from Ruby. Really, doing what I just spoke about, banning out these picks that get them ahead super early and just snowball out of control, giving Ruby that chance to just kind of play the sustained game that they want to play in these games.
Has to break your heart a little bit too, getting rid of one of the reset champions, right?
It does. Yeah, definitely it does. But at the same time, I like Ruby's mindset of taking away these powerful early game picks that are going to snowball the game before it gets out of control.
Really looking like a support-sided fan face for Rush right now, getting rid of Lux second. Hey, how do you feel about a Lux ban? What do your elf eyes say?
I'm a big fan of Lux. Not so much support, so I'm hoping that was targeted at the mid laner. I feel like Lux support is, somewhat baked. Yeah, a lot of Lux support players build full AP, and it really does upset me when you could play a more supportive build on her and still be really effective, especially with her low cooldowns. And the Zeri looking like it's going to be battlefied. So, like I said, I'm a very happy boy now. I just want and the Jinx, straight up Ruby, no hesitation. Jinx being such a powerful pick in this bot lane.
That's a really good pick. They banned out Caitlyn instead. They were hovering the Jinx, but I think that going first pick Jinx is gonna be really strong. Do you think that it'll be more of an enchanter, based off of what No Tech plays? Or do you think that it'll be more based off of we're gonna go in and we're gonna aim to kill and snowball?
I actually, as much as everyone likes, Jinx Lulu, Yuumi Jinx, any enchanted Jinx, I genuinely think that the best way you can support an immobile ADC is not actually by giving them shields, but instead just putting out, constant crowd control pressure. You have a Nautilus. What are they gonna do if they pick Zac, and then Nautilus just hooks him out of the air? He's just done. That's his engage. Over. If you pick something like Lulu, yes, you can polymorph them all after they're already on top of them, but I feel like just picking a Nautilus or a Leona or something that's really disruptive is going to be a lot better with Jinx.
And over on the side of Rush, we've got Xin Zhao and we've got Ezreal hovering on the side of Ruby. They were hovering a couple of different junglers. I'm okay with Gwen. I would like to see a Trundle.
I would definitely agree with that. Trundle obviously provides so much utility. All you really want are the Udyr locked in, so taking a bit of inspiration potentially from the LEC and the LCS, getting that Chemtech Udyr, but overall not so big of a fan. Quite easy to kite, especially with the Ezreal. Obviously, I don't see how Udyr just running with his little bear stance is going to get on top of them, but never know. Udyr is a very fast champion when you get into the later stages of the game. And the Karma, so it's looking like it's going to be Karma, Jinx, and Udyr in the jungle. So a very, got to go fast comp, but not a lot of lockdown or CC at the moment.
Everyone has a flash, Raw. Even Udyr. And he can use that as aggressively as he wants. So I expect a bunch of flash engages if they're from their big, beefy bear stun block, like stat block.
This is exactly what I was talking about there. The fresh third pick. Now, even with Udyr's big flash button, how does he get on top of the Ezreal? With the Flay, with the Lantern, with the hook. So this is something obviously they're going to have to think about now, is they need some kind of reliable engage. Udyr is absolutely great at running through a team, ignoring the front line and just getting on the back line, but he needs the support to get there. So he now needs like an Ornn top lane. He needs a Lissandra mid lane, something to force the issue and get them on top of them. Whereas so far, obviously, Rush having a very laid back comp. They're very flexible. They haven't committed to anything too much just yet. And Victor and Ornn being banned out from Ruby, actually. So a bit of an interesting bans in the second rotation here.
Yeah, so let's see. It looks like Renekton banned out as well. It's getting hovered. We'll see if it gets locked in. But kind of Ruby going against what you wanted right there with banning out Ornn, right?
Yeah, definitely going against what I wanted. I feel like they do need the reliable engage. I like the Mordekaiser ban. Obviously, Jinx doesn't do well into Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser does force you to build QSS, which no other champion really does other than Skada, and they have the Xin Zhao already. But the Darius, Cho'Gath being hovered, they're hovering a lot of different top laners. I'm liking the Gnar, obviously the Hullbreaker nerf. does affect Gnar, but note that Darius locked in last second, so a high pressure top laner, and in response to that, they instantly hover Alawi.
Nope. Oh, they're just hovering a lot. I think they're gonna settle on Set. Yeah, there we go, locked in. I do like Set a lot as well. It looks like Corky's gonna ooh, they're pandering. No.
I'm 100% sure they can hear us, because every time we say they're going to lock in something, they lock in something else. Okay, so overall, what do you think of Ruby's comp, obviously, as we're waiting for Rush to lock in their 5th pick here?
I don't dislike Ruby's comp, but like you were saying earlier, there are a couple of like struggles that I see them running into. How do they close the gap on a Thresh Ezreal? Right? Like you have the Flay. You have the Arcane Shift, you have a Lantern, there's your Ahri, so you get one of your reset champions. You get 2 reset champions, actually, the more I look at it. I don't get to have any fun on the side of Rush. But like going back to looking at Ruby, I think that they are gonna have an issue with being kited. And that seems problematic. It's kind of twofold on both sides, right? Like if Xin Zhao and Darius can't get to the back line and Jinx gets a chance to reset, we've got some issues.
It's definitely true, and yeah, I just feel like, you know, Ruby does have the Corki, which is super nice, but it is reliant heavily. Ruby's entire comp right now is reliant heavily on Corki poking and then Jinx cleaning up. And like you said, they have it, and we spoke about this, they don't have reliable engage. Like Set can ult the Darius into Xin Zhao, into Ezreal, and potentially pick up a couple of good picks, but I don't see how Ezreal won't Arcane Shift out or Ahri won't Spirit Rush out and just keep the 2 carries safe. And you've got Darius there, and Darius is so formidable when you're running at him, because that's exactly what he wants. He either wants to chase you down or he wants you to run into him so he can get multiple stacks off at the same time. So overall, for me, game 1, I am going to vote for Rush's comp under the caveat that they play it well. I think that Ruby do have the ability to just take over the game if the Corki and Jinx do get ahead, but I think Rush overall is going to come out of this game ahead.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Rush. I guess it depends on scaling from the ADs, right? Like obviously if Jinx gets to break free, then I don't think Ezreal really stands a chance. But if they're even for most of the time, then I would definitely say that this game should go to Rush.
Yeah. So I want to see Ruby in this game take early dragons. You know, I want them to be able to pressure an early Drake Soul, because I feel like that is a great way to kind of counteract this. If you get like an Infernal Soul or something, the Corki pressure goes up by 10 million%. The Jinx suddenly becomes this animal that just rockets you in the face and everything explodes around her. So I want to see Ruby play for these early dragons. Obviously, Ezreal Thresh is a scary lane early game, and there is a lot of chance for them to misstep and fall very far behind. So I think Ruby's win condition is definitely getting Udyr bot side, controlling these early Drakes, and trying to push the issue bot lane and just kind of ignore mid and top and hope they, you know, if Set goes even on Darius, it's not the worst thing, and if Corki goes even on Ahri, Corki does pretty well.
Yeah, like, in kind of going back to what you said about the dragons, right? Corki being able to, I guess, contest, try to force for a first, like, Ruby I want to see go for like an early Drake, right? Like 5 minutes. That way they do, then every subsequent dragon afterwards, they have the package to help out.
Yeah, and the package is such a great tool for controlling, you know, large areas. And, you know, that is one of the things they have a lot of, but they do have a lot of zone control. You've got the Corki rockets, you've got the Corki package, you've got the Jinx chompers, her long range, you have Set just to ult Xin Zhao out and away from the dragon. Udyr obviously is there to just take it, and you've even got Karma, Empowered Mantra, create so much zone control. So they do have a lot of zone control, but they need to play off of this and make sure they actually, play for the dragons. They have to recognize this their win condition and play for it.
No, that I definitely agree with that. It's just it's going to be about utilizing their strengths. But like you said, it's got to be flawlessly executed, to be honest, or else they're going to be in a lot of trouble.
That is definitely true. And I just want a quick shout out to my friend Eternal on Stream 1 just before we go into break. And I'm telling you right now that I have more viewers than you, so I am winning this competition. Thank you very much for joining us. I know he's watching. I know he's watching.
How do you know it's because of you and not because of me? What if
wow.
everyone
I think it's something to do with the other stream being delayed by an hour, which is the reason that we're winning right now. But we take those wins. We take the wins.
We take the L plus ratio for the other guys. Like we're for it.
So yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone joining, and we will be back after a short break for CB Rush versus CB Ruby, Game 1 in a best of 3.
welcome back to the Rift for Week 4 of Blue Otter League between CB Ruby and CB Rush. Looking into it right now, it seems like we've got some hijinks on the side of Rush. They seem to be looking in for a sneaky invade.
Yeah, and I love early game action, but it is looking like it's going to be spotted out by the Trinket. Good. Props to Zinzao picking up that sweeper. We like this level 1 sweepers. Just, doesn't waste any time. And Uda actually doing a good job of just slipping over the other side, getting some information on the red buff.
Yeah, he's got his own little info over there. There won't be a sweeper to get rid of that. I mean, we're looking to be in for a regular starting game. Looks like both junglers are going to be starting on the same side. Maybe. Let's see where Zinzao paths.
It does look like he's going to the bot side. I think he maybe knows that the red buff's warded, doesn't want the confrontation in case, a late invade. Set is very strong, obviously level 1, so is Udyr. Zin and Darius both strong level 1 as well, so it would be a scrap to the death, but better just to leave it. Starting both on red side, obviously Udyr starting red and Zin starting blue.
Yeah, just gonna be a standard jungle clear, maybe some action at that top scuttle to start, or maybe even a gank in the top lane for both of the guys to start it out.
And something interesting that I've seen a lot of Zinzao's doing recently is clearing the whole bot side jungle and just ganking bot lane level 3. And Udyr obviously has the potential to do that as well. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any early aggression. It is what I want to see. Ahri doing a great job in the mid lane here. It's just absolutely dominating Corki.
Ahri is not being polite at all right now.
This is exactly what you want to see. The early game pressure from Ahri is exactly what she does. She has a Triumph built into her kit now, which is another fantastic part of her new rework. So a lot of pressure coming out early game, and it does look like she's winning out the mid lane, but not massively in CS, obviously. You do miss some when you're poking out the enemy champ.
That is very true. Looks like we've got a little bit of aggression in the top side as well.
Yeah, and nothing crazy going on there. Obviously, tanks like to slap each other. It's part of the fun of top lane. Obviously, now with the teleport changes, everyone does kind of slap each other around about now and then. But good poke going in all lanes. I'm liking the aggression. I'm hoping this means some early kills, but currently nothing so far. Just a bit of back and forth.
Yeah, right now, and a couple of missed skills for both sides of the top lanes. Like, just not quite landing their snatch abilities for the most part. And a face breaker missed as well.
Yeah, and you can see obviously some of the great CSing that Darius has done, just pushing his early advantage. He is stronger in these early trades with his passive giving him so much attack damage if he stacks his bleed. So Set having to recover, Darius hitting the cheetah recall, meaning he's going to get back to lane being the same level as the Set, and at the same time having the item advantage without having to use a TP. Obviously running Flash Ghost, very aggressive, and Ahri taking some trades in the mid lane. Udyr potentially looking out, but it's a great charm there.
But nothing else to follow it up with.
He's looking mid lane, but this is exactly what I spoke about. Like, what are you actually going to be able to do here other than just run around? Little teddy bear costume, I do like it.
Send a message, that's what you're aiming for.
Exactly that, but it looks like Zinzao's coming into the bot lane here, and a great
that was a good flash.
That is a hook death sentence to Karma. Who's it going to go to? The Ezreal getting the first blood. That is a great pickup. Only having the tier on the Ezreal as well means that early investment has now paid off by not going Doran's Blade or Longsword. So 100 stacks on the tier and first blood for Ezreal, and it's looking like it could potentially be a second kill here as another hook death sentence onto the Jinx. She has no flash, and that is another kill for Ezreal. First strike coming through. Big damage, double kill so far for him. 2-0 in the bot lane. And at the same time, Darius absolutely decimates the Set there. And that's 3-0 already for the side of Rush.
Yeah, that definitely was a lot of kills really fast, like we were talking about earlier, and really, Rush has just gotten like a huge power spike when they go back to spin. That's terrifying, actually, to look at.
It definitely is. And Ezreal already having the shield. The Set doing some good damage here. And the Darius flashing out at 1 HP, but can't chase because he does obviously have his ultimate up. And I think Set is very aware that he was in kill range as well. So great trades there from Set to come back. And, you know, it's not looking terrible right now, but Darius is going for a bit of an armor build here. And Ahri hitting level 6, Spirit rushing into the face of Corki. Ignite goes down and some great damage once again, but not quite picking up the kill. But is she going to do anything right here? She flash Qs. Absolutely disgraceful. Gets the reset, gets the triumph. The Orb of Deception deceiving Corki back to the grey screen.
And here we go. This is what we were talking about. That is a pretty early dragon.
Yeah, and it's a great pickup there from Uda, obviously, knowing that even though they are behind, Uda does have the power to do these dragons ridiculously early on and very helpfully as well. Jinx moving down. But you see the difference here once again as the Xin hits the W, hits the knockup, the pullback from the Darius, and is he going to... Oh, no, he's not even going to use his guillotine. He's just going to save it, saying, good night, Set. You are in my lane now, my territory. And 2-0 on the Darius, 2-0 on the Ezreal, and 1-0 on the Ahri. This is looking brutal for Ruby already.
Yeah, just down a quick 5 kills, not even 6.5 minutes into this game, and... You gotta wonder, like, if you're CB Ruby right now, what do you gotta do to come back?
Yeah, and you know, I think that they just need to slow down a little bit. You know, just ward your lanes, get some vision in your own jungle already, because Xin Zhao is gonna have that pressure now with the laners being ahead, and just try and chill out. But the Darius actually doing something very smart, which I really like, is because he's ahead, he's just going tanky. Like, his only concern is giving away a shutdown. So just don't die.
Yeah, but, you know, and you bring up a good point talking about slowing down if you're on the side of Ruby, but is it really Ruby that's the ones going fast? I think it's Rush that has their foot on the gas pedal, as it looks like we're setting up for another gank in the bot lane.
And obviously you've got the Fresh does not have flash this time, not opted in for the Hex Flash. He does instead have the stopwatch, so a bit less of an aggressive approach from Shy here, but doesn't look like it's going to come of anything. Xin just going back to his Grunt, but great charm onto the Corki again, and just seeing the damage that he's doing. The first strike as well, obviously, interestingly, if you hit the person with first strike, they only have 1 second to trade back before it goes on cooldown. So great aggression from the Ahri to not let the Corki use these abilities and get the extra first strike. You see it proccing there.
Yeah, the Orb of Deception kind of just popping out, keeping Corki honest. But looks like we have a red invade. I don't know, a lot of things going down on the map.
Udyr taking some initiative here. I like the fact he knows where Xin Zhao is. He's clearing out wards, so he's doing well. He's out farming the Xin, even with the pressure being on him at the moment to make something happen. And you know, he's still able to get a lot of gold income, which is quite rare when a jungler's been behind. He's looking top lane at the moment. Can Darius 1v2? There's 2 ghosts popped. Just going to walk out nice and easy for the Darius, not having to burn too much in that exchange.
That's also... do you like Ghost on Udyr in this circumstance, or would you have preferred to see the Flash? But like we had talked about earlier, like, would he be able to successfully flash Bear stance off consistently?
Yeah, you know, I think I like the Ghost in the sense it punishes. If the Ezreal doesn't have flash and missteps and uses his E poorly and Arcane shifts somewhere else, then, you know, the Ghost gives him a lot more room to play off these mistakes. But if the Ezreal isn't making mistakes, I don't feel like the Ghost is any more relevant than Flash. He might as... I thought about taking Exhaust or something, as a Flash Death Sentence comes in on the Karma. Once again, the first strike coming through, but is this going to be enough? The true shot barrage misses, and the Thresh does pick up the kill, but the Jinx might trade back something here. The Super Mega Death Rocket comes through, doesn't manage to get one at the moment as she does rocket a minion. 1 HP, she gets slowed, manages to take down the Thresh with one final rocket, but the Ezreal trades back. A good trade back for Jinx there, but I feel like she could have got more.
Oh, she definitely could have gotten more, but the wonderful play by Sly that time to sit there and just stopwatch when he did, to save Ezreal from the Super Mega Death Rocket. I think that, yeah, that could have gone worse for Rush, but I think that they played that to the best of their abilities.
Yeah, and You know, I feel like that was a good recovery for both teams there. The stopwatch obviously coming in clutch. This is why you don't take it. And Karma trying to call on her inner flame here, maybe to pick up the kill. No, she does opt for the root and misses the regular non-empowered inner flame. I feel like that could have definitely been a kill. Bit of a misplay there, but nothing too detrimental. Does manage to get the Ezreal to back off, and it's going to allow Jinx some time to farm up.
Just trying to hook Ezreal up with a faster recall. Trying
Exactly
to be a
getting those home guards in nice and early, and a set opting for an aggressive trade here as Udyr is coming in once again. The facebreaker comes down on top. No, it's the fully stacked Darius, and he knocks you good. Is it going to be enough? There's no ghost up, and he does manage to spin that axe round and absolutely decimate Udyr. 3-0, and this is exactly what I spoke about. Unkillable with the tabbies and the Warden's Mail.
Yeah, I mean, just turned around on, I guess, he got 5 stacks right there at the end of that, right? Oh.
Yes, and it just goes wide. The Flame Chompers are going to eat up the fresh rooting him in play, stopping that. But you're right. Rush do have their foot on the gas right now, and they're not willing to stop in any lane.
And looks like we are posturing up towards this Ocean Drake. Maybe baiting it out a little bit, seeing if anybody gets curious to sniff it out.
Yeah, and obviously they know that for Ruby, the win condition is this dragon, so just baiting it out and sitting around it might actually get them more kills. But the Udyr posturing for this bot lane, obviously baiting the Ezreal potentially with the pink ward, but Karma's so low, I don't know if it's going to be enough.
Yeah, but right now, like we were talking about earlier, Corki is sitting on the package, holding on to it. We'll see if that gets utilized here at this next dragon fight.
And the Rift Herald drop bot lane here. The zap comes through, trying to do some poke damage onto the Ezreal. The Karma empowered inner flame does come through to do some damage, but it just looks like Rush have so much control of this dragon at the moment that they're going to have to give it, and this just slows down Ruby's win con as the Corki has run out of the package, does manage to Valkyrie away. So nothing too much coming out of this, and it does look like Rush is going to get the second dragon.
Yeah, like not really much you can do there. I think Karma was too low to be able to assist in that. And like you had said, the package had ended up running out. But looks like we have some aggression going on in the jungle. They weren't happy about that red buff getting taken, it seems.
Yeah, and the Udyr obviously is up in CS right now, so he is pretty strong, but not that far ahead, going for a more tankier build. Obviously, as the Corki Valkyrie is in, the Missile Barrage comes through, and a great shutdown there for Udyr, but are they going to be able to pick up any more as the Ahri does miss the charge? She's going to have to Spirit Rush away, and at the same time, the Xin Zhao jumping in. He is exhausted, hasn't used the Crescent Guard yet. Use it now, blocking loads of range damage, not allowing anyone else to do anything. The Corki's still going in for more. The Ahri is going to have to flash out here as the Valkyrie comes through. The Missile Barrage comes through. One more auto attack now. Do it. And Corki saying good night to the Fox. I am a Yordle and I am strong. Taking down the Ahri, going even now in this lane.
I mean, yeah, it was really well played. Like what we have noticed in this game is Noble sort of missing charms. That should probably land. And I mean, that was I don't know, that was the nail in the coffin right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, allowing the Udyr to get on top of you and to run you down and get the stuns off. Like the Udyr is in a situation where he has to rely on, you know, clicking his mouse correctly, basically dodging the skill shots as they come through, and he hasn't even opted in for the Mercury treads, so not respecting the skill shots and the CC from the side of Rush, and just going for a more defensive defend against auto attack kind of routes. Better for trading into the Xin Zhao, but a little scarier overall with the Everfrost and Charm hits. Does look like he's in a bit of a pickle right now as the Xin Zhao jumps on top of him. He's just going to have to run away, stunning everyone left, right, and center, but it's not going to be enough. The Lantern comes over the wall, just giving vision. The Everfrost comes through, the Electrocute proc from Ahri there, and Udyr in a bit of a sticky situation there. Probably shouldn't have been where he was.
Yeah, he grew a little too proud there is the situation on that. Udyr is a man-bear-pig, but not that much of a man-bear-pig.
Yeah, and he definitely left himself a little bit stuck there. So, you know, learning process potentially for later on, but only 2k behind, being 3-10 at the moment. Ruby not looking necessarily as dire as they were a couple of minutes ago, and the Jinx struggling a little bit in this 1v1 situation, but obviously Karma just wrapping around, clearing out some wards, and Corki looking a lot better than he was a couple of minutes ago as well. The Hex Drinker and the Man Immune as the flash death sentence comes through, trying to, you know, be a little bit of a mad life there. Doesn't work out, and flash wasted from Fresh.
Yeah, he was trying to anticipate the Valkyrie in advance there, but it looks like Xin Zhao back in the top lane.
And Set obviously having his shielding ability, the Haymaker, of course, allowing him to just kind of chill out there, not in any real danger. Jinx getting dangerously low considering they just took that tower. Obviously, getting excited does put you in danger sometimes if you're not too careful, but, you know, overall, I'd say that Ruby and Rush are both in good positions right now. Neither of them are looking dangerously behind or ahead. And obviously 1-1 on Dragons as well, so this game is anyone's at the moment. It'll be interesting to see if anyone goes for this Rift Herald.
Yeah, I'm wondering whenever it is going to be tried. You would think this is the most optimal time for Rush to try and take a swing at it. Actually, with everyone
look like everyone's converging on the Set to play the Rune King being popped, the Haymaker in place right now, but it's just too much CC. The Fresh doing so much work, the Super Mega Death Rocket comes through, not able to pick anyone up, and Set left high and dry in this top lane. 4-0 Darius with a 500 gold shutdown, and Set loses his top tower for that.
Yeah, and Darius is just gonna keep doing what he's doing, getting tankier and tankier. That should almost be the Trinity Force finished.
Yeah, it does look like he's going to recall now. It looks like he has the gold to get the Trinity Force completed, so a big spike here for Darius. Obviously, Set not opting for the Mythic first item, going for the Blade of the Ruined King, but I feel like with the build that he's gone for, he's in a little bit of trouble. Obviously, gone for that lethal tempo build, and now the Fresh is walking into a dangerous position, and this is where Udyr thrives. The Corki Rockets come through, and a clean pickup there for the side of Ruby after losing something topside.
It's just not your jungle anymore. Like, you thought that it was, but it turned out not to be.
Exactly, and now obviously a 4v5 situation. It's gonna give Ruby the chance here to get this second dragon on their side here, and it's obviously gonna be a Mountain Soul this game. So great for a tanky pickup there as the True Shot Barrage comes in trying to steal the dragon, but they're not gonna get fooled by
Hail Mary attempt.
You've always got to go for it, haven't you? It's always worth it because you get the big clip, you get the 1 out of 100 steal, and it can change the game.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, Raw.
Exactly that. Exactly that. The Ezreal looking dangerously strong right now. 2 levels up on the Jinx. Like, he is a force to be reckoned with. The Divine Sunder already picked up. Gonna have the Man Immune soon as well. So big spike coming in from Ezreal, and it's going to be an even bigger one soon. Do you think they're going to be able to hold on once Ezreal gets this Man Immune upgraded?
It depends on how many Earth Dragons that Ruby can secure here on out, right? Like, maybe not if there's a Dragon Soul on the side of Ruby. It just might be too tanky at that point.
And that is very true. And obviously, being ahead at the moment is great, but the Jinx has so much potential to catch up, and you can kind of tell that both teams are kind of fighting for this dominance at the moment. But I like the fact that Rush are pushing in this mid lane at the moment, trying to assert their dominance. It looks like they're going to try and pick up this tower as the Rift Herald's dropped here.
So, my question is, though, about itemization. Do you think that you would have gone Gale Force?
You know what? I think that Kraken Slayer is always good, but at the same time, it's how much realistically are you going to be able to be using it in these extended fights, especially with Xin Zhao, who's going to block a lot of your damage. I feel like it's kind of redundant. Whereas you can dodge the Darius pull, you can dodge a charm. Yeah, it leaves you a lot safer. Obviously, Shield Bow, we pretend that item just doesn't exist. But yeah, I think in this situation, I like the Gale Force as long as she doesn't fall into the trap of building Phantom Dancer. Like, Phantom Dancer is fantastic with Kraken Slayer, but by itself, I would like to see a rapid fire cannon here just to further increase the range and the versatility, or I just want to see, like, not a Bloodthirster, but maybe just Lord Dominic second, shred through that Darius armor, and, you know, reduce that threat, which is currently, for me, one of the outstanding threats.
Darius size threat right now on the side of CB Rush. I don't know. Where's the action next? Where's the action next, Raw? You gotta tell me.
You know, for me, I don't think that anyone can do an early Baron. Neither team has. But I mean, Jinx with Kraken Slayer obviously can do it, but with Gale Force, I don't think it's optimal for them to go for an early Dragon and an early Baron. Sorry. So I want to see them just, you know, sit it out for a bit, get Jinx onto that 2-item spike. Jinx functions a lot better with items than without. And, you know, just keep playing for these dragons. But it does look like she's going to get caught here. Nice dodge, but flashed onto the Gale Force is used. True Shot Barrage comes through. Death Sentence misses, and Jinx running away with her life. The Chompers come through, but the Darius is on the hunt. He can smell blood. He is ready, but just decides to ignore the Jinx, knowing that she has no versatility right now. Waits for the flash, and the Noxian Guillotine comes through. Doesn't even matter. And the Darius has the Ghost extended right now, and are they going to look for anything else? As Darius runs at the set. Does just hit him about a bit at the moment, but it does look like Set's in a bit of trouble. Still has the Noxian Guillotine available. Pulled back into the tower here, but the Guillotine does come through in the end, and that is massive. And now the Udyr gets pulled back in, and this is going to be a second kill. I can smell it. The true damage bleed coming through, and you know that Udyr is just going to sit and bleed away. And at the same time, Rush taking down the mid tower. They are all over the map right now.
Oh, I'm in pain. I'm hurting.
Nice job, Death Sentence here. The Glacial Augment comes through, and the Corki's route in place. The Hex Drinker does come through, but it doesn't matter. It's true damage. Corki, it is true damage. That shield doesn't mean anything to Ahri as she flashes through, misses the charm, just runs back out in complete shame there, but nothing else to come of that as, you know, Rush, just like I said, foot on the gas all game. They can't stop themselves from getting kills, and they absolutely love it.
Can't stop, won't stop. I mean, but would you stop killing people if they were, like, put in front of you on a silver platter?
Well, I'm going to say in real life, I probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't kill anyone. But, you know, League of Legends is a very different game.
We're not talking about real life right now.
Yeah, no. If I'm given, especially a Corki, like, as a mid lane main, Corki players do my head in because the rockets are so obnoxious. And if a Corki is there to kill, I will kill him 100 times out of 100. No doubt about it.
I mean, I'm still thinking back on that Darius double that we just saw. Like, I can't get over it. And it looks like, speaking of getting over, the side of CB Rush is going to get another dragon.
Yeah, and at this point, obviously, Ruby's win condition, that could have been their soul if they were on top of every dragon, but unfortunately it hasn't gone their way. So a lot for them to recover now, because not only is Darius getting that Mountain Drake, he has Force of Nature, he has Randuin's Omen and Tabby, so all of these percent armor and magic resist stacking is going to be even higher as they do start up the dragon here, and it doesn't look like Ruby are even going to contest this.
They can't. I mean, there's no way that they could right now.
And it does look like they don't even have the information. I think they finally realized that it's about no Super Mega Death Rocket or anything coming through, even to check it. And a free Baron for the side of Rush. And they are now 9,000 gold ahead from what was just a 2,000 gold lead 10 minutes ago. They've extended that by 7,000 gold. Do you see a way back into this for Ruby now?
For the sake of the cast, yeah, of course they can turtle and we can have like a great comeback story. But you know, pessimistic me is just kind of thinking no. I think that this just gets kind of strangleholded and won out.
Mm-hmm.
Darius being 6-0, 24 minutes into the game just feels unsurmountable.
It does feel very scary, but we always say in this industry that the game isn't over until the Nexus explodes. And, you know, there are a couple of weak links still on the side of Rush. As much as Ahri is mobile, if she does get locked down, no Zhonya's, no Tabbies, no Mercury Treads, so there is always a chance they can one-shot her. Ezreal, once again, no defensive items so far. The Divine Sunderer does give him a bit of tankiness, but the carries are prime for the taking, and there is always the chance, so we don't say it's over completely, but yeah, Rush definitely, it's their game to lose now.
They're in the driver's seat. They've been in the driver's seat all game, and they've not relinquished it once, is what it feels like.
They definitely know how to drive. We can make sure all of them get their licenses after this game, because it is looking pretty good. But the Darius is on the run right now. The ghost pop from the Udit, 4 levels down. The Darius in a 1v3 situation, but he is not ready to go down. Smashed into the wall. The Karma and Power Q comes through as well. And the Corki gets the shutdown. This is exactly what I'm talking about. 1,000 gold to Corki there. And the package comes straight through. Bit of an over-aggressive play just to clear it out. Doesn't go down as he Valkyries back out there. And a good clear out, and it's not much gold back, but 1,000 gold onto a Corki is a scary prospect as they try and continue to defend the base.
That or Jinx would have been the two people that you wanted to see that money on for sure. But I mean, it took everyone to kill that.
And the fight continues here as Jinx Gale forces forward, just trying to do anything to pick up some kills here as the Karma Empowered Shield comes through, hitting all 5 members. The Everfrost come through as well from the Ari. He just stands up on the spot, and Ezreal does manage to take down the Udit. Are they actually going to be able to trade anything back? It doesn't look like it at the moment, but big damage from the core. Barrage coming through. You need to dodge these because Corki will mess you up, and Ezreal is looking like he's going to stay. The Zin's out as well. They are all just recalling now. And coming out of that for a 1-for-1, you always are happy with that if you're Ruby.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be happy with that if you're Ruby, but I would be excited if I was Rush there. Like it was a numbers advantage for Ruby to start. So the fact that they didn't lose anyone and they traded, it was really a 1-for-0 when you think about it.
Yeah, I guess that is kind of true, but like the gold shutdowns on these champions at the moment is scary, and while obviously nobody got a shutdown in that fight, it's just 400 gold if you shut down the Ezreal, 250 extra gold if you shut down the Ari, so they do have to be careful. They are at a 10k gold lead right now, but it is so easy to give Jinx and Corki a way back into this game, and the Udit doing some good work in that fight, stunning up some targets, obviously going down, but good work overall, and they get some control back. The Baron's over now, so they have some time to breathe before this dragon comes up in just 30 seconds actually, as the Corki does get hooked into place. Valkyrie's away, doesn't manage to get anything, does manage to get out though. True Shot Barrage comes in, narrowly missing as the Guillotine comes down onto the Karma and says goodnight. Slices straight in half there as you see her laying on the floor.
Yeah, bisected by the guillotine there, and it looks like they're going to crash this mid wave into the tower. Should be is there a tower? Yeah, the inhib's bot. So I think this tower falls. They don't have a way to clear out like they just did with the package Valkyrie combo. We'll see if the siege doesn't seem to get anywhere though.
Yeah, but so the beauty of rapid fire Jinx is she's pretty good at wave clearing, and as long as there's no one directly pressuring her, at the same time Darius being chased down in the bot lane, but this could be pretty devastating here if they get caught out of position, and the mid tower does go down. It looks like they're going to look for a fight here potentially. Darius is walking up for the flank, just pressuring that bottom inhibitor at the same time. The Ezreal's getting chased down, does manage to get man out, and he's not getting anything done. A double Everfrost, and the Jin Zhao goes in, obviously using his ultimate there. Big damage from Set as well, but it's just not enough. The Jinx isn't able to get into the fight, and the Set goes down now as the Darius is behind them. Ghost is popped, apprehends the Karma, doesn't even need to, as the Guillotine comes through, and the teams are calling GG as only the Udit left alive, and a surrender vote coming in there from the side of Ruby, and an exciting game 1 coming through there. How do you think that game went, and what improvements could be made going into game 2 for Rush and Ruby?
So for I suppose for Rush, you could play a little cleaner in the mid lane. I really don't have a lot of critiques for Rush's game there. Maybe Darius with the Hullbreaker would have been a little bit better just because of how often he was alone. But that's obviously nitpicking, right? As for the side of Ruby, maybe ban out Darius.
Yep.
I mean that was a really, really strong game on this side of it, Hayden. So I don't I don't know. You have to play not as if I don't like I'm just looking at it. That's a lot of deaths. You can't hemorrhage that much.
Hmm. Yeah, no,
So
that's definitely right. And yeah, I think for the side of Ruby, they just needed to play their own game. I feel like they let Rush have so much control early on that they kind of forgot their game plan, or what I assume was their game plan, which was the early dragons. After that first one, the second dragon just wasn't, you have the Corki package, and even if you are behind, the Corki package early game is so strong that you could still have forced that second dragon, I feel, and it might have gotten them back into the game, given them a lot more pressure. But yeah, you're right. For the side of Rush, my advice is to just keep going as hard as you're going. If you're that confident playing aggressively, just keep doing it.
yeah, I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? So it didn't seem broken at all in game one.
My only actual criticism would be potentially to pick up a little bit more of a scaling comp in case your early game plan doesn't go to plan. Like maybe swap out the Ari for a Victor or something. Give yourself a little bit more versatility in terms of damage in case the enemy team does get ahead. Obviously, Ari Ezreal not being so great when behind. But yeah, other than that, fantastic game from both teams, actually. Obviously, Ruby showing that they have heart and willing to fight to the death until they know it's over.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. With all of those things being said, we're going to take a short break, let the other teams get into picks and bans and get set up to discuss those. Once again, thanks for tuning in on week 4 of the Blue Otter League. This is CB Ruby versus CB Rush. We'll see you in a bit.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, ooh, I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. Cause that's what it takes. Pieces is a form of art. I'm never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. Cause that's what it takes. I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down Windowless ride, feeling alive. Nothing in sight, forever in flight. Follow those lines, we'll make it this time. Blurry street lights, work as a guide to memories that we're making tonight. Oh yeah, we'll make it tonight. Yeah. I'll do anything that I feel like I wanna do. I'm living life like I got nothing left to prove. No end in sight, just always staying on the move. I'll go all night if that's just what I gotta do. Life's too short to care about what you can't afford. Memories are in what you explore, so just don't be ignored. Go ask for more, go ask for more. 'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH, country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? I'll just breathe in. 'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH, country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? I'll just breathe in. I'm in a race that everybody's chasing fast. They wanna be that someone on the screen at last. They ain't looking inside for their needs in life. They wanna be liked by everybody in sight. But trust me, being free ain't spotlights. No, it's long nights and it's long fights with yourself all the time to get your mind right. But if you put in the work, you can find the light, alright. I'll do anything that I feel like I wanna do. I'm living life like I got nothing left to prove. No end in sight, just always staying on the move. I'll go all night if that's just what I gotta do. Life's too short to care about what you can't afford. Memories are.
Welcome back. We are into Game 2 of Blue Otter League. We have CB Rush against CB Ruby. Rush taking a pretty dominant Game 1, I would say, as we get into bans and picks.
Yeah,
Looks like Corky and Hecarim getting taken out again.
Yeah, and the classic, Hecarim ban, we saw that last game. Obviously, Rush very predominant on the Hecarim, just getting it out nice and early, just removes that threat. Corky is a nice ban from Rush, obviously. One of the big threats from Ruby that game was Corky. So removing that scaling powerhouse in the mid lane makes me happy because I don't like him, and also because very strong mid laner. And it looks like they're just a bit undecisive in the second ban here, and they do ban out the Lux again. So interesting second ban, and Samira coming through from Ruby.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if Seraphim kind of sneaks through this time. Like you said, a good game played on them by one of Ruby's players earlier in the season. There it is. There's the respect ban.
Yeah, and a good ban there from Ruby. Obviously, respecting the fact that top lane did definitely have problems last game, and just taking out the Darius just gives them a bit more, room to work with. But it'll be interesting to see what Rush pick up first here. Allowing themselves to have this first pick will be kind of massive if they pick a good first champion here. As the Ari instantly locked in there, a great first pick, nice and versatile, very safe laner.
I wanted to see Jinx, honestly. Oh, the cage! They're gonna try and counter the dashes with the cage.
Yeah, and I do like the Veigar being hovered. Obviously, can be played in the bot lane as well. So not necessarily mid lane here. So it definitely opens up Rubies for a more flexible draft going into this one. And Veigar is a very nice pickup, and the Seraphine locked in as well there. So we're going to make an assumption on this stream, which we won't do very often, that Seraphine is going to be bot ADC, or at least in my assumption, and Veigar is going to be mid.
Okay, all right. I'm not against that. I will say that I did see a Ruby comp on the first week when they casted against Absolute that was not centered around Veigar.
what this final ban is. They're probably not too sure where laners are going at the moment. The only person they know for certain is the Viego in the jungle, and even then, he's been played a lot top lane recently.
I was gonna say he could be top lane. Like, so they could just be flipping everything up, and we could see the bot and top lane for the side of Ruby right now.
Oh, and it does look like it's going to be Rel
That's who it
support.
was.
So
the other support was Seraphim Rel. That is actually a really scary combo.
Yeah, there is. There's so much potential for engage. Obviously, you need to get them CC locked, which is great, and then you have the Viego for follow-up. So we're going to have to see some good intuitive picks here from Rush to really work around this. LeBlanc being one of them, able to dash in and out as she pleases. Not too much of a threat on the side of Ruby there with the Rel. But
I do like
LeBlanc, is it going to
so
be...
is that a top lane Ahri?
It could potentially be bot lane Ahri, knowing potentially that they're going to play this Seraphim bot lane, letting them have it, and the Blitzcrank Ahri combination will be very strong and do a lot of damage, but I just don't know if it'll be enough into Seraphim Rel. We'll have to see, as the last pick's being hovered right now. No, not hovering anything till last second, leaving us completely confused. And the Camille top lanes. So I believe it's going to be Ahri Blitzcrank bot lane. That's what I'm hoping for.
Okay, all right. Yeah, no, I mean, like, why not? I'm okay with this. And Sion is going to be the other top laner for CB Ruby.
Yeah, so definitely playing, a defensive comp.
Oh,
yeah, no matter what they pick here.
Now.
Yeah, every time we say anything, they
Why not?
it.
Why not, guys? Like, that's fine. That's cool. I'm gonna be over here. Like, I'm gonna go now.
Yeah,
and there you go.
Yeah, they're playing a very, centralized, everyone stack on Seraphim comp, right? That's the goal of this, is you keep everyone alive with your shields and healing. You've got frontline tank now, so the Blitzcrank isn't as effective. Like, if you hook a Sion will just start punching you if you kill him. So,
Sion's okay. He goes, oh, thanks for the instant transmission into your team.
Exactly. Like, there's an extra flash for Sion, basically. So, I like Ruby's comp a lot more here. Interesting with Rush to kind of counteract the Seraphim, probably knowing it's going to be picked and picking the Ahri bot lane. So interesting picks from both sides. What do you think of both teams' comps?
I know that I've been fanboying over Rush a lot more this whole time, but seeing a similar comp from Ruby in action week 1 or week 2, I can't remember when they played Absolute, but I think that it was week 1. I like that comp a lot. Rel Seraphine really does put in a lot of work, and they're going for another similar sort of cadence to what they did last time, to where their team fight is going to be terrifying. I'm gonna say it again, but Seraphine's ult with Rel ult makes it way too hard to actually get away from from just the giant size of her music. Like, they're gonna end up listening to music, whether they want to or not.
Yeah, and I do think on the side of Rush, obviously, you have the Camille, which is big damage. Coming into the mid to late game, that's exactly what you want. The sole AD, obviously, Jarvan probably going to go for a Gore Drinker build this game, so we'll be able to survive a long time. So I'm just a bit concerned about Ruby's overall damage output, but the Veigar does kind of back that up. But Viego's going to have to do a lot of work this game. Who do you think is going to win based on the draft in the second game then? So you kind of on the side of Ruby for this one?
I think I am. Like I said, I like Ruby's comp. This has nothing to do with me just like picking red side every time, even though that might be what it looks like. It's going to be, if they execute it as well as they did the last time that I saw it with the Yasuo, it's a really hard comp to climb out of and team fight against. Looking on the side of Rush, I guess they kind of do have a pick comp. If they can get away with getting a couple of those key pieces out of the way, right? Like, if they could grab the Viego or the Seraphim or the Veigar, like, maybe a different story. I just feel like that front line is going to be too much for them to actually crawl into a victory position with.
Yeah, no, and I do definitely agree with that, but I personally am going to give it to Rush based on their first game performance, and also I think that Camille is going to be so difficult to deal with. Sion really struggles in this matchup, and I feel like if the top laner gets ahead, like they did on Rush last game, then Camille can definitely run over this game before Seraphine gets to a point where she can actually keep the team alive. Obviously, not going to be able to max the shield first. Going to have to play for the damage in the early game to not just get one shot by Ahri Blitzcrank every single time. So for me, I think that Rush does have the edge, but you're definitely right. Ruby overall, you know, we were speaking about this in our little break. They have the easier comp. You know,
Yeah.
they know their win condition. It is we team fight. We team fight. That's it. Where
Yeah.
you know, Rush has to play more side lanes, they have to play a lot more macro, but with the Blitzcrank, and this is why I said I do like him and he's always on the edge of the meta, so disruptive to a comp that wants to group up because all it takes is one hook and suddenly the whole comp is in shambles. So it'll be interesting to see how the game plays out. And with that being said, just going to go to a quick break right now while we jump into the spectator delay. So join us in a couple of minutes for game 2 of CB Rush versus CB Ruby, with Rush being 1-0 up.
Welcome back to week 4 of the Blue Water League, game 2 between CB Rush and CB Ruby. Looks like we kind of have the same cadence going on this time, but a different approach to try and sneak in.
And obviously,
so both teams.
You know that the Blitzcrank always wants to invade. He's hungry for it. It's part of his entire kit. You know, just get in there and get the hooks off. But yeah, doing well and stacking in a different place. It's more common in competitive gameplay for Blitzcranks to invade topside, just because of the visibility, especially when on the blue side of the map. So obviously not super knowledgeable about the invade pathing of Blitzcrank there, but nonetheless, nobody in any danger and good vision once again from the side of Rush in the second game. But it does look like there's going to be a little bit of cheese, and we see something. The cheeky Scion looking down here and going to look for that, you know, burn the summoners of Blitzcrank early, but you do have to be careful that he doesn't hook you straight under tower.
That is very true. The Malphite Scion, like I was talking about earlier. Let's see if it pays off.
Yeah, and Diego obviously starting by himself. The Camille not knowing where the Scion is, even though they know Diego started there. So Camille's sitting back in her lane, just trying to chill out a bit, and maybe they smell out this cheese. But is it going to be enough? And they're walking down right here, but they're just sitting right out of reach. They're not allowing them to do anything. And the Scion's now wasting time, doesn't manage to hit the Q, and does look like anything's going to happen as a Scion. Now we're going to have to teleport top as the hook comes into Rel. No. And a big knock up there to channel it back through, and good trading from the side of Rush there.
Definitely a good ward to start that game out, to sniff out that cheese. It was a very good award.
It was indeed, and yeah, it does definitely set the Scion behind. Obviously, Scion not super fussed about being behind in a lane. He likes to just sit and tank stuff up. He's not super into fighting, especially when he goes for the tankier variant, but obviously it does give Camille the early CS. Not great in the early lane, Camille, though gives her a bit of an advantage just to chill out herself and get some good farming numbers, as everywhere else is looking kind of even, and you kind of see the Scion and Camille just trading out evenly.
Yeah, like you said, top fights like to be slap fights.
Exactly, and yeah, the Scion does exactly that. Never really has any damage unless you go full lethality, but, you know, able to just soak waves indefinitely, and it's exactly what he's looking for. Burnt the TP early as well, so has to be careful not to get himself knocked out of this lane, especially with the Jarvan already floating around the top side here. So it could be an early deficit if they decide to make anything happen top. Scion passive is so scary in these situations, so we'll have to see what happens.
Right, Scion passive is a quick way to turn a bad situation into a free double kill. So we'll see if they can do anything like that. If in the you know, sad situation that he dies, which unless.
Yeah, Vigar obviously taking some big poke damage there. Not really strong, especially into LeBlanc in the early game, but the Jarvan is now coming on the side. He's going to have to burn Flash here. Does get the knock up in return, and Scion Flash being down as well as not having a teleport. It's going to leave him in a sticky situation in these next couple of minutes, and looking for a little 2v2 trade here. Obviously, the Seraphine and Rel combo doing so much. The Blitzcrank having to flash out, gets the mana shield coming through. The Diego not able to do anything. Good exhaust there, and everyone out on 1 HP. Seraphine using the heal and the flash there. So overall, good trade outs from both teams. Just, you know, knowing their limits, but Vigar really starting to struggle in this lane. But, you know, he's farming well, so nothing too much to worry about as long as he doesn't go down. Has the teleport advantage here.
Nori landing a big charm that time to save Blitzcrank. That completely saved Blitzcrank's life. And the flash has to get burned by Vigar. That's not putting you in a good spot against Noble. I do like LeBlanc. I really appreciate the LeBlanc pick. They catered to me right there. Yeah, that was great.
You know, good aggression in the early game here. LeBlanc having the disadvantage of not having teleports. Vigar just going to be able to come straight back to this lane, fully healthy. No ignite on the LeBlanc now, so less kill pressure. And going to be able to soak this wave. Going to be close to level 6. So LeBlanc wants to get some good damage off here if she can get the wave in. And just, you know, get a free recall, which is exactly what she wants. As the Scion potentially going to go down here.
Oh, no.
He's in a bit of a sticky situation, but the Viego is here just to cover him off. Survives on 1 HP, and Camille going to do the exact same thing. The Viego having pressed the attack, not able to get enough. The Camille actually burns Flash, which is a bit of an interesting one with Viego not having Flash, but, you know, better to be safe than sorry.
Maybe a bad communication on the side of Rush right there, not communicating what summoners were used. But like you said, perhaps was them playing just safer rather than sorry and not wanting to give a kill over to the Viego. I suppose with a kill and a reset, you could have been able to bounce out with wall grab.
Exactly that. So, you know, they're playing very much Ruby's game this game. Last game, they had their foot on the pedal in every lane, and it just doesn't look like they're able to pick up anything in this early game. And with the Vigar hitting 6, LeBlanc missing a couple of chains here, everyone's kind of getting a bit more chance to scale. The Scion not super far behind in CS. Camille obviously going to be able to catch that wave in the top lane, so going to get herself a bit more ahead. But other than the top lane, every lane's looking quite even, with the Seraphine actually taking a bit of a CS lead in the top lane.
So who do you think gets first blood this game?
You know, I want to say Camille. I really see the Camille just doing something crazy, but the Viego kind of recognizing that and hovering topside. And is the Camille going to be able to get out of this? Is she's probably going to just hook over the wall, and she does manage to. The Viego not being level 6 yet, not able to follow her, and nothing happening just yet, but we just don't know what's going to happen. Once the Heartbreaker comes through for Viego, it could be a completely different story. But nothing crazy happening as the Charm hits the Rell in the bot lane. Rell decides to dive in, and this means she could be in big trouble now as the Rell gets ignited, but nobody being level 6 just yet. With the Ahri chasing down the Rell with the reduced move speed, a big flash in, the Charm comes through. The Rell flashes out there, but now it looks like the Seraphine's in trouble. She gets hooked, and now the Seraphine's going to go down, and the Rell is just left standing. The Orb of Deception comes through, comes back, and the double kill for the Ahri, what was looking for a fantastic lane for Ruby.
Yeah, I mean, and once again, 2 kills going onto the ADC early. I mean, all right, so maybe I should rephrase that. Air quote ADC there. The carry of CB Rush, getting that easy one, and just more poke going down on the Vigar.
Yeah, and I'd love to see Vigar put a cage down there, just place it on top of where LeBlanc wants to go back, so she's constantly stuck under the tower. Maybe get a trade back there, but you know, the Scion looking pretty healthy in this top lane now, being even in CS and actually being slightly ahead of XP, and the Rell just in a bad position again, gets hooked. Rocket grab, and the LeBlanc going to come through with the full combo, but the Jarvan flag and Drag does manage to pick it up, and that's a clean kill on the Rell again. The Rell looking very unhealthy as the Camille ults the Scion in place. The Hextech ultimatum just going to stall him down, but the Scion ultimate comes through. Is it going to be enough? She's very low. She's at 1 HP. They're both so low as a rocket grab comes through onto the Viego. Is he going to heartbreak it out? He doesn't manage to. The Cataclysm comes through from the Jarvan, holding him in place. Another kill for the Jarvan there as both top laners walk out at 1 HP. Big stuff is happening on the other side of the map for Rush.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about, right? Like, foot on the gas pedal, and it just seems that all of a sudden it is now again.
Oh, and the LeBlanc walks into the cage and doesn't manage to trade the kill. Vigo getting a good kill back there. Is the rocket grab going to come through? Flashes under the tower, doesn't manage to pick up anything. And everyone's looking worse for wear as Camille does dash in with the hook shot and hit the Scion, but the Scion passive is massive. Trades one back, denies Camille all that creeps under the tower, and at the same time they pick up the dragon, the mounted dragon on the other side of the map.
You know, playing against Scion is basically like playing against Last Stand in Call of Duty.
Just constantly, yeah, every time you're down, managing to get yourself back up and pick up that trade, so yeah, great pick up there.
It was never fun to end up like having a deagle shot at you when you thought you downed the person. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, no, that is very true. Obviously, the Scion passive doing so much there, and you know, the wave denial is so important from the Scion as well, just disallowing the Camille to, you know, pick up. There was 10 creeps under the tower there, and it does set her behind as Scion's now ahead. The Jarvan sweeper comes through, but it's not going to be able to notice as the Viego flashes on top, and a big cage from Vigo. They're popping the Predator, the Primordial Burst coming through just to finish off the kill.
The little bit of a troll there from the side of the Rift Herald.
Oh yeah, no, I see that just resetting there, but you know, they're still going to be able to pick it up, and you know, great comeback here from Ruby after, you know, Rush putting their foot on the pedal, exactly what they've shown to be good for, and then answering back with aggression of their own. This is what I like to see.
Yeah, but like you were saying earlier, it does not look like Camille is winning these trades like she was earlier.
Yeah, no, she's definitely fallen slightly further behind now, and Sion doing a great job here at just trading backwards and forwards. And this is where Sion's stronger, as he does ultimate in, gets stuck under the tower, but nothing comes of it. The unstoppable onslaught stopped with his own brain there, so good.
One thing came from it. He got a plate.
Oh, that is very true, actually. I didn't notice that. So, yeah, big slow onto the Camille there, and she's 1 HP. The shield comes through, and now the Jarvan's heading towards the top side here, so the potential for a 2v1 situation, but we all know what Sion passive does. He is a level up, and he's just going to run at the Camille, noticing the Jarvan behind him there. And is anything going to come of this? It does look like at least one person's going to come down. A great clutch explosion from the Sion, but can Jarvan trade it back here? As he is just beating down the Sion, does manage to smash him in the face there, and Sion passive is just going to do work. But the Jarvan, is he going to be brave enough to fight it? No, he's going to let Sion pick up the wave, and still very positive from Sion there from the side of Ruby.
This game is going a lot different from the first one that we watched, right? Like, that gank that Jarvan just pulled off really almost ended in a, like, nothing happened, and it almost ended in a 2-for-1. This time it just kind of traded over as a 1-for-1.
It's like a 4-man dive here. The cage comes through, the route onto the blitz. Great, the primordial burst coming through, but it's not enough. A big ultimate there from Seraphine just to slow everyone else down. And with the encore being used, is it going to be enough? And LeBlanc dashes in, gets stunned up instantly. Big cage. Everyone is in the bot lane. Who's going to go down first? The Diego is looking for the reset. Manages to pick up one, gets taken down by the Orb of Deception as Ari is now dashing through. Big flash charm there from Ari, but the Vigar is not yet down. He's exhausted as the hookshot comes through from the Camille, picking up the Rowan at the same time. The Orb of Deception once again being used onto the Vigar and taking him down as well. And it's 10-5 at the side of Rush.
Yeah, and you are looking at a 4-0 Ari. Probably not quite where you want to be as far as, you know, CS is concerned, 85 to 101, but the gold lead has to be in favor of the Fox right now, right?
Yeah, definitely, and she's actually going, I just noticed this, lethal tempo attack damage Ari, so something we've seen a couple of games recently is these kind of off-meta ADs with the ability for Ari to just be super mobile, as now the Sion's getting run down by the Blitzcrank. He's not going to be able to go anywhere. Good flash from the Blitzcrank to stop the unstoppable onslaught there. It is stoppable if you try hard enough, and the Hextech ultimate not up for the Camille, but manages to hook shot away from the passive, and that's a great shutdown onto the whole Breaker Sion, who's just looking to split push and be a nuisance.
Yeah. I mean, that was a great flash from the side of Sly to make sure that Sion couldn't yell cowards as he ran the opposite direction from the rest of them, which is probably my favorite interaction with Sion ult. Kuma looking to sniff out this ward.
Yeah, and you know, Hullbreaker Sion is really tanky, but Camille does have true damage, and it's something they have to watch out for. And now the Blitzcrank coming in mid. Is the cage going to be able to stop him? The Everfrost comes through, the rail jumps on top of him, and another kill for the Vigar. 4-1-0 for Vigar, the Everfrost Predator, doing big work right now in the mid lane. Just so much utility with the cage, and now the Blitzcrank hits a Jarvan from afar. The random hook, and the Seraphine Encore comes through, shutting down the Jarvan as well. Big goal going onto the Seraphine net.
Yeah, and that's going to be a dragon. I mean, and a good dragon. Oh my goodness.
Brutal.
Oh. Alright, Vigar's looking scary now.
Yeah, and the primordial burst doing so much damage. You can already see how far he's scaled, and he's going to be able to base on 1,400 gold, so going to be even bigger now. And, you know, Diego not super far into the game right now in comparison to Jarvan, but having the support from the Vigar and the Seraphine is going to give him so many chances for resets. And at the moment, you know, Ruby's looking in the driving position. It's definitely not as clinical as Rush in the first game, but there is a lot of room to work with it as now the Blitzcrank gets stunned up. The Blade of the Ruin King coming through from the Viego, and a big kill there for Viego, getting himself on the board with his first kill, becoming Blitzcrank and causing a lot of issues again as the hook shot comes through on to Sion, and the Jarvan just going to look to run him down. Already has a gold score, drink of the Hextech Ultimatum, just trapping Sion in place, forcing him to fight, but a big trade back again, not respecting the Sion passive as he becomes a zombie and slaps Camille to the grave.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, that's gonna be the benefit of Sion. Even if you do die, like, you're gonna do your darndest to take somebody else out along with you. So, yeah. Just, I don't know, it's looking grim again.
Yeah, exactly that. And with him having Hullbreaker and being able to, like I said, pick up these XP leads while he's dead, he is looking great in comparison to Camille, who is a full level down now. And the Seraphine now able to clear this bot wave with complete ease, not needing the Rel to be there, meaning that the Rel has so much agency across the map and giving Viego a chance to get himself into the game. Now, even with Jarvan on levels, ahead on CS, not quite the same on KP, but definitely looking in a good spot.
Yeah, and if we're looking at gold, even though they have the kills, like, Rush is down right now. Rush is down 1,000 gold.
And you see the Sion coming into the bot lane, the unstoppable onslaught. Dust misses the Blitzcrank, and now he gets hooked under the tower, but the charm actually disrupting the hook. That is really bad timing and synergy there from these two. And are they going to be able to pick anything up? It's a big
there it is.
Ultimate from Rel comes through, not able to pick anything up just yet, but the Cage comes through, double kill there, and everybody is dropped. Vigard Cage holds them all in place, and the music is ringing in their ears. Big decibels, big damage, big kills.
That was a bad... Well, I mean, it went to Rel, so that's probably the best case scenario for your worst case scenario, but that RE shutdown was not something that you wanted to lose right there.
And you know what? They might have banned out the Hecarim, but a B-Tech Hecarim right here, a big wooden horse, is going to deal some damage as the game comes through, and you see the potency of the setup and aggression. And now the LeBlanc just trading with the Sion, but the Hullbreaker and the shield just means she can't do anything. And you see, even tanking the tower, he doesn't care. He's got so much HP already at 2,300 with no HP items other than the Hullbreaker right now.
Did they learn nothing from the Trojans? Like, everybody knows that a fake horse is terrifying.
Exactly, and you saw the combo right there, and this is exactly what you spoke about in the drafting phase. The Seraphine Rail, the Encore, just so much utility, and, you know, so much CC, it doesn't allow them to move, and the Viego Cage on top of that is so big, it's going to be hard for them to recover from this.
Yeah, no, I love Magnetic Storm, like, with Encore. It is a terrifyingly strong combo.
Yeah, and
you see the flash there.
Yeah, the Vigar gets hooked, and in return, he has to burn Flash. Like, the Vigar should be the one burning Flash there, but not enough coming out of it, as now the Blitzcrank is going to look for the hook, stuck in the middle of that cage. Nothing out of that just yet, as the Rel does get stopped in her... But yeah, no... Rel looking really good this game. Mount up and mount... Not mounting up right now, but... You know, just so much utility across the board from Ruby this game, and they're looking in a really strong position.
Yeah, and they're looking to kind of control this dragon area for the next Drake. Hextech Drake, not a bad dragon. I don't know how well it really works for their team, but you can never feel bad about basically like static shift.
Yeah, exactly, and it's the slows as well that you get from the soul. Obviously, the Seraphine benefiting so much from that for the follow-up CC and damage. Just having a constant slow on the enemy team with Viego is going to do so much. And, you know, with them picking up this dragon, they're looking in a prime position as the TP comes through mid. Are they going to be able to pick any up here? No, it just looks like they're going to get as mid-wave shoved out and posture for the second dragon.
Yeah, which is up now, and like we were stating before, it looks like, the charm landing onto Rel, like... But that's the thing, right? You land a charm on Sion or you land a charm on Rel, and then what do you do?
Yeah, and we saw a bit of a mismatch here with the Blitzcrank Ari as well. The charm obviously not going in, but the Jarvan actually jumps in and steals the dragon. But are they going to be able to be punished for this, as a big Encore coming through again with a magnetic force and a double kill for Seraphine? 2 and 4 now from the Seraphine, landing all of her abilities. And this is exactly what we spoke about. It doesn't matter if you get the dragon, if you're just dying for it, and so much pressure being exerted now by Ruby.
Yeah, just that storm again. Like, you can't get out of it. You're not allowed. And then you gotta listen to the music.
Yeah, and it's such a great combo, just, you know, having the Vigar and the Viego for follow-up. It just, you know, even if they don't get the initial kills, just one kill reset onto the Viego right now does so much for your team. If your Jarvan's fed or your Ahri's fed and then the Viego picks him up, it just means they've got another fed member, so it doesn't actually matter how well Viego's doing.
I mean, I wouldn't be that bold, but yeah, no, I kind of agree. There's a good flash ult.
Yeah, and a Hextech Ultimatum comes through. Are they going to use a Cataclysm as well, as Sion doesn't have the Unstoppable Onslaught to get out, and they're just dogpiling on top of him. He's not going to be able to survive this. Is he going to get anything with the passive this time? No, they're all going to respect it and walk away. Sion wanted to beat them down, but nothing coming out of that, and everyone just kind of kiting that out. Good for them, not dying to it again.
Yeah, asking him for a little bit of help. Camille started to get beaten down on. Like, no, grab him, please.
Yeah, coming into
Oh, but Sly might be in trouble here.
Yeah, and it does look like they're collapsing on him, but this could be a big fight as the Encore comes through first to set up the rail as she crashes down onto the Blitzcrank, and the Blitzcrank now being taken down. One reset for Viego, hits the hook onto the Camille, into the cage. Camille going down, Viego now going to hook shot around. The Vigar is taken down, big shutdown for the Java, but it doesn't matter. Now he can flag and drag. Everyone is dropping one at a time. It's a triple kill for Viego, taking the Jarvan Ghost, and now Arya's across the wall here as the Viego trying to stun up the LeBlanc. Is she going to get taken down as well? Big charm and an egg from the side of Ruby, and that is most likely going to be Baron, and that was with Sion across the map taking towers.
Yeah, and you know, just like you said earlier, Reset King going on over here, Mr. Steal Your Kit. Just borrowing everybody else's and showing his ability to play these champions too. That hook into cage wall was pretty sick.
It was absolutely beautiful, and this is the amazing versatility of this comp. It doesn't matter what the enemy team is playing, because if they die, your team is suddenly playing them as well. And the Viego now 5, 2, and 6. A minute ago had just a singular kill, has brought himself right back into this game, and will be going back now potentially to get a Trinity for a Divine. Of course, it's the Divine Sunder, a great item for Viego, giving him so much penetration and looking to build into that Death Dance now.
Now we're looking at Sion just sort of hanging out. Like, I wonder if he's gonna overstay. Not.
He is a very tanky boy, and I don't think it matters too much. He just slaps down the Jarvan and says, "Alright, that's enough for me." Walks out, the Decimating Smash, doing a bit of damage, but not too much. And, you know, 4 people on the Baron right now. This could be risky if Rush decide to contest it, but the Rel looking to Hex Flash forward, trying to create some pressure, and they're just going to walk away. Probably the smart decision, being a 45. Force Camille's flash.
Camille did teleport in. I don't know if they have the damage to be able to do Baron without having, you know, people around, like, people dead.
Yeah, that is very true. Obviously, not having a dedicated AD carry does cause problems when trying to take objectives, and the Rel going to dive in here, not picking anything up, and they might be looking to force a fight as the Unstoppable Onslaught comes through, barely dodges out, but the Jarvan does get caught up in the cage, and that is just going to be a straight up takedown for the Viego, and now he flag and drags forward. Is he going to chase any more? The Camille just walking out. And
so there's
now,
that pick that we were talking about.
Yeah, and a good charm there from the Ahri, but the Jarvan's so tanky, obviously being the Viego, and a hook comes in, but a great stopwatch there from the Vigar, and now everyone else is going for the Encore being used. The Rel jumping in with a Magnetic Storm, not having any follow-up at the moment, but a Blitzcrank hook into the cage again as Inori goes down. The Ahri with the charm doesn't manage to get any more. The Viego is tanking the tower. This could be pretty bad for him if he does get taken down. The LeBlanc comes through, but the Primordial Strike going straight onto the LeBlanc, and the hook shot comes through from the Camille, taking down the Viego. But big trades again from the side of Ruby, as they are always coming out ahead with the Seraphine.
Yeah, like, Encore is just too strong of a counter engage, right? Like, Encore has been doing a lot of work for the side of Ruby.
Yeah, and Jarvan not able to walk through with the cage and the Seraphine CC, so just zoning them off the dragon, obviously waiting for their jungler to come back alive, trying to pick up a free kill. And no attack, I tell you, absolute animal on this Seraphine at the moment.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Both bot laners are playing very well on their respective, like, 80, not 80 champions. So we'll see what happens here.
As the Jarvan stepping forward, just trying to get some vision and some information, but it does look like they're going to leave this dragon to the Viego. So 2-2 again on the dragons. No one having big control over these objectives at the moment, as going into this, you know, later part of the mid game, and it's a 6,000 gold lead for the side of Ruby this game, as opposed to last game being pretty much exactly identical in terms of gold lead, but on the side of Rush.
Yeah, it's a pretty wild game to watch. But kind of like we were harping on earlier, it's playing into your strengths, and I would say Ruby definitely knows how to play this comp. Or at least this bot lane. This bot lane is terrifying.
Yeah, definitely have practiced this more than once in Flex Queue. You know these five are queuing up together all the time with this kind of comp, because it is disgusting to watch, and I really do think they are in a driving position. It's their game to lose, but as I said last game, the game isn't over until the Nexus explodes, and you know, LeBlanc has a lot of power to pick off champions. Ahri, obviously, great damage if she gets the charms, and they're posturing towards this Baron again, and does Rush know that they're not actually on it? They're going to start walking in here, but the potential for another big combo from the rail as she can smash down onto the entire enemy team.
It looks like they're being safe and just clearing right now at the moment, though, so they did not seem to misstep into the pit.
Yeah, and a great flash hook from the Blitz right here. This
is.
Could be the turn. The Seraphine goes down, and this is the volatile pit we were talking about. Seraphine down. The whole combo is gone. Can they make more happen now that the Sion's still split pushing, being an absolute terror? The LeBlanc having to match, but the Jarvan big flag and drag double cataclysm. The Hextech ultimatum coming through for the Camille, and now the Viego is being chased down as well, flashed on top of, and that is a big swing from Rush, showing that they can be aggressive even when behind, and now they are going to be the ones taking Baron.
That is a free Baron on their side for sure. Like we were talking about, they saw it, they waited it out, they got the really good hook onto Seraphine, and sort of when Seraphine gets pulled out of this comp, like they lose a lot, if not all, of their kill pressure, I'd say.
That's exactly right, and you see them picking up this Baron with no contesting from anyone. Obviously the Sion not really able to walk in, being the split pushing build with the Hull Breaker and the Tiamat, meaning he's not going to be as relevant in these fights. And Camille getting to the point now where she does a lot of damage. 2.5 items complete, looking to maybe get the Sterix next, and big damage coming through there, and a big gold swing as well from 6,000 gold down to just 1,000 gold down now, and a Baron power play in progress, meaning they should be able to claw the rest of this money back.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what they're able to do to stop. Maybe they try to get a pick on Sion really quick with no objectives on the map. Like he would probably be the biggest objective, I would say. And I mean, they are posturing in the top side, looking to want to deal with that.
Yeah, and a lot of standing gold for the side of Rush right now. Top tier 1 and bot tier 1 both being on the map still, meaning they are posed to take some gold back as well and get themselves back right into this game, as the Sion being an absolute beefy boy, but is he going to be able to survive this?
Look at this damage
right in front of this unstoppable onslaught, and this is the Ahri damage we're talking about, the Kraken Slayer, and the mobility dodging out on the decimating strike there, as now the Sion goes down, and that will be top tower, and some more gold in the pocket of Rush.
Yeah, I mean, they're clawing their way back in. Like you were saying, the game's not over until it's over, and that was a detrimental pick that we saw on that Seraphine earlier in the match just a second ago.
Yeah, and it just looks like they're continuing to push. LeBlanc getting that bot tower now, as you can see, are pushing up, ready to take it with the Baron buff, and yeah, it's just so much pressure coming out of Rush, and now Rush only being less than 1,000 gold behind, just 500 now, meaning that it's pretty much as even as it gets at this point in the game. 2 dragons apiece, 40 seconds on the next dragon. And I believe this dragon, if they decide to fight it, is going to be game-changing.
Yeah, well, who do you think? Looking at these things, do we think that Ruby can kind of stabilize if they just keep executing the way that they have been?
I think that Ruby has to give this dragon.
Yeah.
Their game plan has been kind of strange because for me, I want Sion in the team fights, and he's another target. Yeah, well, he's not a target, but he's another body to block Blitzcrank. And here we go. This is Sion's walking in, a lot of damage being soaked up there as the Seraphine heals come through, and this is where everything changes. The cage comes through, good dodge out from LeBlanc there, and now Ari a bit in a sticky situation, able obviously to just Spirit Rush out of the pit, using her ultimate for that though, and
Rush is really split right now.
Yeah, and you don't know what's going to happen as Ruby is posturing really well, and this is why we want Sion in the fight, blocking the hook and not taking barely any damage for it. He does get charmed up, and this is massive. The Encore comes through, the Magnetic Storm as well. The Sion getting taken down by the Ari there, the Lethal Tempo and the Camille in the backline. Hextech Ultimatum, but their Primordial Burst comes through.
Grab him!
Gets pulled into the team, and now everyone is running for their lives. The Viego doing so much damage. The LeBlanc dashing out, but surviving on just 1 HP, and the Vigar Flash Predator, and the Viego popping off in that fight, being able to get reset after reset again, and securing Ruby, the third dragon, but Jarvan looking to steal it. Potentially the Flagon Drag comes through, gets stuck in the cage, it already goes down, and that is another death into the cage as Vigar picks it up, and suddenly Rush doing so well, and then throwing their lead right back to Ruby, and third dragon going the way of Ruby.
Yeah, it was just the and also thinking about it, they would have had Soul if that first Drake wouldn't have been stolen.
Exactly right, but there was a good steal from Jarvan earlier in the game, but yeah, this is looking once again in Ruby's favor. Just when we thought the game might change back, the Chemtech Putrefier coming through from Seraphine as well, reducing Ari's healing, reducing Jarvan and Camille's healing, and Camille just couldn't get into that fight like she wanted, and has opted to go for the Hull Breaker third, meaning she's going to be able to now match the Sion in the split push if she wants to.
Right, and like I was saying earlier in that Drake fight, they were way too split. Just Ruby working as a unit, and I guess they were doing like a weird 2-1-2 to try and be able to get into that fight, and they just got zoned out.
Yeah, and they're obviously respecting the team fighting potential from Ruby with the combo they've died to so many times already, but you know, it's got to be hard. I feel like Camille does have to be in the side lane now and just trying to get the priority on this Sion, but if she can't get her true damage through, Sion is going to be able to tank a lot of these hits. So interesting to see how their game plan is going to adapt now, with Rush having to take their foot off the pedal and maybe chill out and play more of a macro game, which is what we expected from them at the start anyway.
Yeah, we'll see if they can sort of stabilize and hone back in. I mean, gold lead is looking close to 3K. It's not quite there, and it seems to be shrinking every time that I talk about it. Please stop. But we'll just have to see how this turns out. I mean, neither team's sort of grouping the posture for a fight at the moment. It seems. Just kind of go into clear jungle and push lanes out.
Yeah, and coming into the later stages of this game, obviously the gold, when it's this close, doesn't mean too much. It is very much about utility and levels at this point, and who gets the first pick. If someone does get caught, often it will just end up with them ending their lives. But you've got the stopwatch. I don't know if you've seen this, a stopwatch on Viego. You've got stopwatch on Vigar and stopwatch now on the Seraphine. So the team, if they do get hooked by Blitzcrank, has a lot of survivability. So the potential for Ruby to just wait out these fights, wait out the initial pick, and re-engage afterwards. So great pickups there all round. A bit interesting on the Viego, but all in all very okay, as now Sion looking to trade out with the Camille, and you're seeing how strong Camille is in these fights. Is she going to Hextech Ultimatum? Yes, she does. And now the Sion having to run for his life, but a good hook shot there. But at the same time, in the bot lane, Viego getting Cataclysm in place, doesn't actually manage to get out, and this is exactly why he bought the Hourglass. And Nothing actually coming down. The Camille missing the hook shot. That is pretty big. She could have definitely gone in there. And great survivability there. Exactly when I question the hourglass from the Viego, he then pulls out that magnificent play. But Rush going for this Baron. And now Ruby not looking like they have a lot of potential to fight. What exactly is going to happen here as Viego now predatoring, running at them, and it just looks like they want this Baron more than Rush.
Yeah, but like we were talking about earlier, the damage for Baron right now is going to be pretty low considering for a team with 29 kills.
A good hook onto the Viego there, but nothing to come through afterwards as the rail is stuck in place, but the Blitzcrank just gets straight in with the hook there, and the Viego doing big damage, and the Viego using the Primordial Burst just to take down the Camille, secure that kill, and 2 kills on the side of Ruby there, meaning this dragon should be pretty free, but the Scion taking so much damage. Ari actually doing so much. The Magnetic Storm coming in, just pulling in the Ari in place, and now the LeBlanc able to lock down the Seraphine, getting her Hourglass as well. Scion going down means they don't have much of a front line again, and they're having to come off of this Baron. And a good trade out there from Ari to keep them in this game.
Yeah, Ari's damage is a lot more than I think people would like to see on an AD mid laner that didn't go mid.
Unfortunately, the LeBlanc just getting a bit overzealous there and not able to get anything. The Flash Everfrost coming through from the Vigard, just trying to take out that Ari. If that was it, it would have been detrimental. With the Dragon coming up here, the Jarvan potentially just going to have to look for a steal on the Viego.
This is going to be another fight. Like, they're wanting to fight for sure here. Maybe? Find out. Drake's getting pulled out. Jarvan and everybody is postured.
Yeah, and once again, everyone's stepping up, but I believe they are just looking for the steal here. The Magnetic Force comes through, and that is Hextech Soul as the Jarvan tries to flash out. Save your flash, buddy. That could win you the next fight. And now they're just going to push down to the mid lane, and they're walking straight over to Baron. With that pickup on the Jarvan means no smite threat, and it should be a free Baron for Ruby on top of getting the Hextech Soul.
Yeah, and still gold is not that different. I mean, it's going to be, like you said before, like, not detrimental at all at the moment, but this Baron definitely is going to go over to the side of Ruby for free.
Yeah, and it's just going to slow down any chance Rush has of getting back into this game, but it does look like they're going to potentially look for the Scion here, obviously not having the unstoppable onslaught, but he does flash out nice and clean from him there just to keep himself safe. And now Rush has to reset and just try and get out as the Rail was looking to run down the Ari there just to stop her recall.
Yeah, it just... Ooh. So looking at it, you feel like it's Ruby that has their foot on the gas pedal in this game, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've done so much. Oh no, that's a big bit of unluckiness there from Rail. The last second recall. Just so everyone at home knows, in your recall, the last 0.2 seconds, you are completely immune to CC, and you will recall unless you die from 100 health to 0 health. So, not able to stop the recall there at the last second, and it's going to slow down their push a little bit, not having that essential part of the combo.
Yeah, no, definitely agreeable. We'll see what happens here. It looks like, the root landing down on Blitzcrank, missing the hook.
Yeah, and he gets flashed on top of, and now the Viego has the Blitzcrank, which means big hook to come in. Is he going to be able to hook the LeBlanc?
He's trying to hook the two people that aren't going to get hooked.
But this could be the end of the game right here if they decide to push it, and Viego just pushing forward with the Seraphine. So much utility, so much healing. They're all still full HP as they go potentially for the end here. And they're just going to push in the unstoppable onslaught coming through, doing the BOL special. And a big encore there, taking down the Jarvan almost instantly. The Primordial Burst going through onto the Ari, taking her down as well, with the Seraphine picking it up. And now it's just a LeBlanc trying to defend against 5 members. And she is running for her life, slowed by the Hextech Soul constantly. And it looks like we are going to a game 3. Great recovery from Ruby there.
Yeah, definitely. I really like that comp from Ruby. It's a super strong comp. Like, it destroys everything so far. I mean, I've only seen it played twice, but both times,
Yeah,
it's
and
destroyed each time.
they banned it in game 1,
Hmm.
and then they respected the Corki too much. Like at the same time as the Corki did well when they didn't have that big control coming out from no attack. They really struggled. So I want to see Rush ban it in game 3 and move forward from there. But both teams played so well again. Rush really showing that they have fire and can fight from behind, but Ruby from the start looks so much more confident and so much more comfortable on these picks. It could be red side, it could be the picks and the champions themselves. Obviously, like we said, Seraphine and Vigar, such an insane combo. Seraphine and Rel, such a main combo. So Seraphine has to go.
Yeah, no, it can't. It's got to be respect banned just as much as the Darius was game 1. Absolutely not going to be allowed in this next game, because if it is, like, that just happens again. I mean, I guess you could ban out one of the 2 combos. I would rather ban out Seraphine, but there is a possibility of banning Rel as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really think the strength is in the combo of both ultimates together, more so than it is one of them.
Yeah,
if
but
that makes sense.
I don't know. I feel like the Seraphine's so versatile with what else you can draft, right? Because you don't have to pick Rel. You can pick Leona, does the same thing. You can pick Braum, kinda does the same thing. You could pick Malphite top and recreate the same thing. So plenty of options for the Seraphine. I feel like the Rel a little bit more linear. Without the Seraphine, not going to be as effective. So I think it is the Seraphine that has to go. But you are right. Every factor in their comp that game played a crucial part, and even a tank Scion doing so much damage in the side lanes with Hullbreaker. And you spoke about Hullbreaker being such a great item that they have to really think about what they want to do in this third game, because Ruby could look to take this in a 2-1.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited. That being said, we are gonna take another quick break. We're gonna let the teams get back into picking bands, and we'll meet you all again there. Like I said, thanks for tuning in to week 4 of the Blue Otter League, and Ra and I will be back as soon as we can be. Thanks, guys. Welcome back to the third game of the week 4 of Blue Otter League on stream number 2 between CB Ruby and CB Rush. Both teams obviously are going to be tied at 1-1 if we're going into game 3. Raw, how do you feel about this one?
Well, I was told when I was casting with you that all of your games go to a best of 3, and last week I had a very quick best of 2. Or a best of 3 that won 2 games, and tonight we are back at it again for a best of 3. And first game from Rush, very dominant. Second game, Rush had some key moments where we thought to ourselves, this is it. Rush is making the comeback. They've won it. But Ruby held strong the entire game, played to their composition, and executed almost perfectly. So I'm very, very excited to go into this game 3. Like we discussed beforehand, Rush, if you don't ban Seraphine, I think you might be trolling, and the bans are about to start. And so what do you think Ruby should ban here from the side of Rush seeing these last 2 games?
Hecarim. Yeah, look at that. I'm great. I'm such a mind. That's exactly what that was. I mean, we're gonna see a Darius ban. We're gonna see a Seraphine ban. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if we'll see a Jinx ban. I'm wondering if Ruby's gonna try and grab Jinx again for pick 1 on blue side. Zeri's actually the first ban over on the side of Rush, which I mean is fair too. Like we've said before, really quirky champion right now, but still very good.
And the Ahri picked up obviously 2 games in a row now from Rush, and they hovered it as a ban for a second, but they are respecting the Samira and Hecarim, and like I said, the Seraphine ban, second ban coming through here from the side of Rush. So they're hovering it, but there's no way they don't ban it out, and there we go. There is the second ban on the Seraphine, and then the Camille third. So potentially going to leave open the Darius or both. I'm not too sure. Maybe they're a bit undecided right now, but I think there are a lot of threats in the Darius band out there. So respecting the same bands, the first 3, and potentially looking to pick one of them away in this first pick, as Rush has their third band still to go.
Yeah, we'll see who they try to take away this time. Who was one of the bands game 1? I'm wondering.
It was Hecarim, Samira, and I can't remember who the third one was, but the Lux band out there as well, and the Karma locked in first from Ruby, and I'm predicting an Ahri pickup from Rush here.
I mean, that's a really strong guess, and we just saw that they flex it, so you can't even really decide on where they're going to go with it. But there you go. That's what I wanted to see on the side of Ruby. We'll see how well Rush pilots the Jinx.
Yeah, and the Jinx, like we spoke about in the first game, an absolute powerhouse in the early game, mid game, and late game, all being able to get excited and ahead if they do pick up an early lead. So interesting to see what they pick with this. I personally, like we've discussed, like the engage supports with the Jinx, just to provide her with some utility to work with, and the Fresh picked up as well there. So Fresh, Jinx, an absolute powerhouse bot lane here. And Ruby are going to answer with a Ziggs, which I absolutely love. I'm hoping it's going to be in the bot lane here. They might still go back to it, but looking like it's going to be Karma mid or Karma AP carry bot lane, depending on what they decide to pick up here. Obviously, Karma being very flexible, able to be played top as well, but the support is definitely what's going to be locked in here, and it is going to be the Leona.
Okay, I mean, I like Leona against Jinx a lot. There is one way to stop you from being excited, and it's hard CC. And you really think that it'll be a mid or a bot lane Karma and not like a top jungle smite?
I really hope that it's not. And the Ahri being hovered there, but going for the more traditional Ruby pick of picking up the Veigar. So it is now leaving Karma either to top or to bot lane, but definitely not stuck anywhere, as also Veigar can operate in the bot lane along with Leona for some big CC chains, especially at level 6 with a Primordial Burst. And this is what I was talking about from Rush, executing with a higher damage comp this time. Victor, my favourite champion in the game, being locked in there. So a great third pickup from Rush, and so far, once again, very flexible composition, able to play offensively and defensively, and having a lot of damage in their kit so far.
Whatever next set of bans coming out as well, it looks like Set getting taken out on the side of Rush. They don't want it in Ruby's hands.
Yeah, and on the other side, Ruby taking out the Jarvan, so not allowing for the flag and drag combos like last game. And what do you want to see each team pick up now to kind of round out their comps? Obviously, Ruby a lot more flexible with where they can put their champions. What do you want to see picked up?
Jungle Teemo. I mean, like, wouldn't that be fantastic?
I mean, yeah, I'm still 100% convinced that they should put Leona top and just pick Renata. I want to see Renata so badly.
Yeah, and there you go. Ornn has been banned out every game too.
Yeah, and obviously the Ornn Horn, the big Call of the Forge Gods, not going to be seen tonight. Ornn being such a disgustingly strong top laner with the ability to upgrade items, and the Scion from CB Rush here once again. And the instant Mordecai is a hover to counter it, but no, are they? All of these champions are looking very happy. Obviously, all of these allowing for a counter pick, leaving their jungler for the last pick on the side of CB Rush. An interesting last pick, but looking for the counter as Aatrox is locked in. So it's Aatrox into Scion there.
I wanted to see the Fiora. I'm also a big Fiora fan. Hey, but we got a Zed mid. No, never mind. I take it back.
Well, it's obviously the jungle pick coming in last here for Ruby.
No, it's jungle Leona.
So, it's the Graves picked up there. So, not looking like a terrible comp from Ruby. Has a lot of utility. It could still be Karma or Vigar mid and vice versa in the bot lane. Most likely going to be Karma Leona bot lane, I guess. But you just don't know. And what can Rush pick here to really supplement their composition? Hey. And it looks like it's going to be a Lilia hovered, which has a lot of crowd control and is really, really good into Graves. You remember back a couple of years where both of these champions were meta junglers, Lilia was always the stronger pick because of her overall kill pressure.
She also like zips around pretty well. She can kind of kite Graves more or less. Mm-hmm. Get away from his Q. But we'll have to, like, looking at the comps now as it stands. Mm-hmm. I'm going to stick with the way that I've been sticking before. Red is always right, so Rush is going to win this game.
Yeah, I think that, my only concern with Rush this game is the lack of early game presence. You've got Victor, and I'm a Victor player, and I know that while you can fight early, and trading 1-for-1 is always fantastic on Victor, one of the things you do have to worry about is he doesn't have a huge amount of early damage. Scion in the top lane, Aatrox always wins that out. Graves in the jungle against Lilia, pre-level 6, I'd say Graves is pretty good at fighting her. And in the bot lane, obviously, Jinx needs time to scale. She is really good if she gets excited or manages to take an extended trade. But all in all, Ruby definitely has the early game in their pocket. So Rush, if they can get through the early game, make it to mid to late game, I think Rush 100% has it. But because I think that Ruby showed they can play this supportive style really well, and having an early game advantage for, I'd probably say, the first time in all of these drafts, I'm going to give this third game to Ruby.
Oh, okay. I mean, I think we've literally gone the opposite direction, both like every single game. So
I like disagreeing with people.
that's what you want to rate in. Like, it's a fun thing to do, Raw. My issue with Ruby's comp is kind of the same issue that I had with their comp last time. They don't seem like the damage is there, but at the same time, I kind of look at the comp and I don't see the damage. But that's gonna be a really strong team fight comp again. I assume Leona, you're gonna wanna Leona ult. You're gonna have an empowered Q sitting behind it from Karma, the Cage, Aatrox's E, and then just a whole bunch of damage from Graves. But that's only if they execute properly. And on the other side of Rush, you have Jinx. All you have to do is get one kill with Jinx. And I don't think this Jinx is going to go Gale Force this game. I think that they are going to definitely pick Kraken Slayer. So tear through absolutely everybody on the side of CB.
Yeah. Okay, well, I like that analysis from you there, and I'll be very excited to see what build Jinx does go, because that will definitely have a large effect on the game. But yeah, I think we're going to throw it over to a quick break right now, just while we jump into the last spectator phase of the night, and we will be back in a few minutes to give you an exciting game 3 between CB Ruby and CB Rush.
In my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, not likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains. I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange, popping off and risking things. Gonna make a f***ing name. I just wanna be famous, but I don't want that cheap fame. No, I'm not that vain. I just wanna be greatness. 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 Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste me, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. Okay, I'm going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend. Everything that you see is something I invent, and it's only a percent. I'm gonna take shots, if I miss all, forget it. I'll take a fat loss just to learn all that's in it. I'm taking snapshots, learning how to fall and get it. I'm getting back up, always stand tall, don't sweat it. I never back up, I don't miss a thing or regret it. I'm always learning, you could call me academic. I'm always working, never been apathetic. That energy is like a poison, needs some antiseptic. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste me, you can try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fight me. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste me, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. Ain't no motherfucker in this world can do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love. Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. I have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in debt. Been stabbed in the back bed, I'll show you what happens. Pass me the mic and I'll show you with action. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that human being. Cover them with tattoos so you can't see. Knew it from the start, you had problems with me and the things I could be, I just wish I had seen. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own.
Welcome back to Game 3 of Week 4 Blue Otter League. We have CB Rush versus CB Ruby ready to duke it out for the win here. This time, no invades at all. This is a standard 5-point start for both teams.
Yeah, and I think both teams are kind of sick of standing on the wrong side of the map, and this time no information gained for either Rush or Ruby on where the enemy jungler is starting. Lilia getting the early ward in that pixel bush, and Graves straight away just clearing it out.
Oh, and experience advantage.
Experience advantage for the Aatrox, so he will hit level 2 off of this first minion wave there, which could be detrimental for the Sion if he doesn't respect that. But across the map, everyone being very chilled out. Sion not going for something cheesy this game, and the Lilia starting on the top side with Graves starting on the bot side. So both starting at red buff.
Yep. All right. So then, where do you think we have the junglers crash against one another?
Well, I think, for Lilia, she wants to avoid the Graves early, so good that she's starting on the other side of the map. She doesn't want to see Graves until she's level 6, unless she's killing him in some weird scenario. And good trading there, back and forth in the mid lane, but nothing crazy, as everyone just looking to kind of get through this early game at the moment. Obviously, early game slightly in favor of the top side of Ruby, but nothing crazy overall, as Sion gets a nice trade there onto the Aatrox, proving that he's not a pushover.
Yeah, just sort of letting his will be known, as once again we have a little bit of trading going on in the mid lane. All right, so too early to tell predictions. Where do you think first blood's going to happen?
Okay, first blood this game with my magic prediction is gonna be, I think Leona's gonna get a first blood.
Oh yeah, it's gonna go to Leona.
I think that it's not going to be for 6 or 7 minutes. I think at the 7-minute mark, there's going to be a nice fight around the dragon. Leona's going to ignite the Jinx, and Jinx is going to burn as she runs away. That's my prediction. What about yours?
All right, I'm gonna have to say that it's gonna happen in the mid lane. We're gonna have Kuma fall to Noble's mini wall or mini cage, and a good gank set up by him and Lilia will take them out. Let's go ahead and undercut your 7-minute mark and say it around 6:30.
Okay, well, I like that. Competitive. That's exactly what we're here for. And you see some good trading now going down in the top lane. Aatrox level 3, big damage. All hitting all of those sweet points with his Darkin Blade. So nice early damage there, and this is what Aatrox does. He loves being in a 1v1 lane against a laner that isn't super able to challenge him. He does heal a lot with Conqueror and his passive healing, and he does have the ability just to push other champions out of the lane. And Lilia looking for that mid gank a bit early. Lilia, 6 minutes we said. So
right? I mean, I know. I gave a clear. Oh, wait a second though.
Yeah, and Victor flashing out there, nice and easy. As now Lilia looking in this bot lane, as Leona is stunning up the aftershock, flashing away from the death sentence, keeping herself nice and safe. And now the fight dissipates away, and Sion looking very weak. The sweet spot hits him with the Darkin Blade, and neither of us were right. Aatrox picking up first blood in a solo 1v1, and this time the Sion passive not going to be able to trade anything out.
I'm okay with both of us being wrong.
Exactly that. If both of us are wrong, then neither of us wins, and that is a good way to look at it. As Graves pressuring this bot side, able to burn the fresh flash, and good pressure from the side of Rush again, as Aatrox straight back at it, just smashing the Sion in the face, and the Sion not able to trade back too well there. Obviously, Aatrox having that health deficit because he hasn't recalled yet.
So do you think that this Sion will be able to recover as well as the other Scion did against Camille last game?
I think Aatrox is a lot more oppressive. He has a lot more early game damage. Obviously, if Scion can get through to the point where he has a couple of items, but another pickup there from Aatrox and a great flash out from under the tower, flashing that mastery in his face, and he is angry. You see the Scion just activating his ability there, trying to get in range just to punch him a couple of times. But yeah, Scion can survive this lane if he's, you know, plays it well and dodges all of the sweet spots. But Aatrox is so oppressive, and with 2 kills under his belt, he's going to come back with a huge item advantage, and Scion's going to have a hard time, you know, recovering until he gets that hull breaker and gets a bit tankier.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like that he's build progression wise. Does not look like he's going for the hull breaker yet. 2 ruby crystals on the Scion at the moment.
Yeah, he's probably looking for that early Bammy Cinder just to give him a bit more HP, but he is going to need that hull breaker if he's ever going to survive. But the Caulfield's Hammer and the Kindle Gem already picked up for the Aatrox, giving him a lot more health and a lot more damage. And Graves looking for a 6-minute Dragon right now and looking to be uncontested. Lilia is going to spot him out.
Oh, Lilia, you can do it. Just go find him. But he's got the peoples to help him now, though.
Exactly, and yeah, it looks like a first dragon being picked up from Rush, and they're showing after banning out the Seraphine that they're willing to put their foot back on the pedal and just accelerate leads in every lane. And the only thing they have to worry about now on the side of Ruby is this Jinx. On the side of Rush, is this Jinx. And the Victor scaling up nicely, but yeah, Aatrox in the top lane at the moment. Big sweet spot damage. Is he going to pop the World Ender at the same time? A cage comes through mid. The Victor does not have flash. He's going to have to try rate 1-for-1 here as the end of the line comes down from Graves. Picks up the Victor, and 3-for-0 on the side of Ruby right now. Unexpected, but also at the same time, really great play from Ruby.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm getting egg in my face right now with my prediction. The damage is there. The damage seems to be there, at least in the top lane. That Aatrox damage is a little unreal. World Breaker is still available on Aatrox, by the way. So see if he pops that here in a minute.
And you can just see the CS League growing for the Aatrox at the moment, and realistically now they're going to have to start putting more pressure on this bot lane, getting the Jinx into a position where she can take over. Aatrox does not do well into long range hyper carries. As the game goes on, Aatrox will fall off and Scion will be more useful, but can Scion get through this early game as big sweet spot damage once again coming through from the Dark Blade? But here comes Lilia. She is level 6. You've got to pop the World Ender here as he's going to get put to sleep in just a moment, but Lilia is just going to walk it out. Doesn't put him to sleep just yet. Put Aatrox to bed. Come on, send him to bed. And there the World Ender's pop, but it isn't enough because the Lilia manages to get the sweet spot, and Aatrox in a 2v1 now. The Lilia realizes that she is doomed, that Scion has to flash out. Does not have the ultimate to get away. The unstoppable onslaught just on cooldown still, and a 2v1 from Aatrox there, wasting precious time, and more importantly, Lilia's ultimate, the lullaby, and now the collateral comes in, smokescreen, and the end of the line for Scion there, as he's now 0-3, falling further and further behind, with the Graves getting his 2nd kill on the board.
That 2v1 turning almost into a 2v-WON for a 2v1.
Yeah, and no, big stuff coming out from the Aatrox. Ruby really stepping up their game here, and this is exactly what I spoke about. Yes, you have the Jinx and you have the Victor, but what damage do you have in the early game to mitigate the threats from Ruby? And at the moment they have nothing, so right now they just need to chill out a little bit. Obviously the Victor starting to get enough damage to poke out the Veigar out of lane, which is gonna give him a chance to catch back up. But right now it is looking very rough, as the next dragon already coming up in just 2 minutes, meaning a second accelerated dragon here from the side of Ruby could put them miles in the lead.
Yeah, and I mean, I wouldn't feel bad for an Earth Drake on their team making a little tank here, but we've got some action in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and a great flash play coming through, but just not enough. The super mega death rocket blocked, and nothing to come out of it as the solar flare was used with the ignite just to get the Leona away. And yeah, it's a good attempt, but Leona is a steel fortress. She is unkillable with the aftershock. So a bit of bad target selection there means that they walk away with nothing except burning Leona's ignite. She didn't even flash.
Yeah, I mean, in looking at this top lane, as opposed to going Bambi first, I think I would have liked to have seen a Bramble Vest.
Yeah, see, I have this discussion a lot with my top laner. The issue with the Bramble Vest into Aatrox, like most champions, like if you're playing against a Grave or something, as the World Enders pop the sweet spot on the Darkin Blade and once again just pulls out and Graves is there to cover with the Rift Herald just to make sure Lilia can't do anything in return. But yeah, the issue with Bramble Vest into Aatrox is that Aatrox primarily gets his healing from his Q and his, like I said, his Darkin Blade, and without, he doesn't have to auto attack you, so somewhat is difficult, but he does now have it as the cage comes through on the Veigar, and it's just an absolute fest at the moment as a Sion unstoppable onslaught's back in, but is that going to get him killed in return as the Lilia looking for a potential lullaby as the Leona comes in, big solar flare and the cage on top, the Primordial Burst comes through, not even needed as Victor's Chaos Storm sent out in return, just trading back some damage, but 7-0 on the side of Ruby right now. And Sion looking in a bad spot as this tower is being taken. He is low. The Leona jumps in, does get traded out, and the Sion picks up one. The Victor is now here. There's a big kill. Flash forward from the Veigar, and now the Sion is looking for more and punches the Aatrox out of the air at the third rotation of his Darkin Blade. But Gordrinker picked up from Aatrox now, and you know, good comeback there from Rush, but still positive for Ruby.
Yeah, no, I mean, and this gold lead is, we talked about, you know, like a gold lead of 4,000 not being important towards the end of the game, but it's absolutely important at the beginning of the game. So if you're Rush, how do you do? You obviously secure this Drake, but what do you do after that?
After that, right, so Victor now upgraded laser, right? So big damage upgrade here for Victor, meaning that he's going to be a lot stronger coming into these next fights. You want Victor to realistically get all of his upgrades because then he's slowing everyone with every spell. It gives Jinx a lot more viability to team fight, and you just, you know, you just kind of ignore their champions for a bit. Karma does fall off. She doesn't scale fantastically. Veigar does, but I'd say Victor and Veigar scale relatively evenly because Victor's very mobile. Lilia has great utility coming into the mid to late game, and you know, the Aatrox the same thing. Like eventually, and this is a big eventually, but Sion will just be able to tank through all of Aatrox's damage, and Aatrox will just become a bit of a crowd control bot. So they just need to chill. They need to keep scaling. Try not to, you know, give too many kills away, and certainly don't get caught like this, Lilia. And she's just gonna walk out, but red buff stolen for Aatrox there.
Yeah, I mean, not where you want to be if you're Sion at the moment. I suppose that the benefit is your wave is way on your side, but just I don't know. Recovering's gonna be hard for Hayden in this game.
Yeah, it definitely will be, and the fact that Aatrox is confident enough to 2v1 this. And you can just see him, like, even if Lilia pops a lullaby here, it's just not going to be enough. Aatrox just slides his way out, and now the Graves is coming back in, looking for a kill. Does get the Eclipse proc, and that's big, but a good flash from Lilia to block the collateral damage there. And now the Sion just going to have to flash out as well as the Veigar comes in with the cage.
Yeah, just this is not going according to Keikaku at all. Like, you know, editor's note, Keikaku means plan. Yeah, I just... Ooh.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not going to plan, but, you know, it is kind of a given that Rush are going to fall behind with their comp to start the game off, and it's, for them, it's about damage mitigation, right? They don't want to fall too far behind, as great play here, and as Zenith Blade comes through, the Jinx flashes out the way, but Leona is so tanky, and the lethal tempo is fully procced, and this is the opportunity. And at the same time, the Victor's going to go down with the Primordial Burst on top of the Darkin Blade. Does finish off the Victor, and at the same time, they pick up nothing bot lane in return there, as a lot of summoners burnt from the side of Rush. And Graves able to come in and mitigate them picking up any kills there. So 9-3 on the board for the side of Ruby and a 5k gold lead.
Just another targeting issue. Leona making themselves a really juicy looking target and just not falling whenever they get focused. Thresh in a lot of trouble.
In a bad situation, having to flash out of the cage, doesn't get caught by the edge of the Everfrost, so able to get out okay. But that's the last summoner in the bot lane being burnt now. And yeah, it's just making it harder and harder for Rush to recover.
Yeah, they're slowly trying to keep this gold lead in their favor and just trying to smother the side of CB Rush.
And yeah, now it's just a case, like I said, it is expected of Rush to fall behind because of the champions that they have. But it's how far do they fall behind? If it gets to the point where Graves is one-shotting Jinx, it doesn't matter if Jinx gets time to scale, and Vigard does have the innate ability to take any champion out of the game that he wants, so the Lilia, the Victor, and the Jinx all have to be so careful they don't get bursted.
And we see it again. Another Jinx with Gale Force. I don't know, maybe I'm missing something, but I'd want to see damage.
Well, obviously, big things to dodge: the Darkened Blade, the Vigor Cage, the Zenith Blade, and the Solar Flare. So, I'd also like to see Jinx have the cleanse. I know that heal is so sought after in these 2v2s, but, you can build the Kraken Slayer if you have the cleanse to dodge the CC, but without the cleanse, it just feels like she has to build it. She doesn't have the options, and Victor once again being run down in this mid lane here. The cage is dropped, and they know Victor has flashed this time, or should know, but is he going to flash out? He flashes last second just to get out of the bind. And the Zenith Blade comes through onto Lilia, and this is the one-shotting ability I spoke about. Graves taking it out of the game already. Also, Graves picking up the QSS as they continue to fight here, and the Thresh has no flash. You burnt it last time, and the Zenith Blade goes straight through onto the Jinx. She's going to get stunned up. She's stuck in the cage as well, and the Primordial Burst from over the wall. And at the same time, Victor goes down in the mid lane. Everybody is dropping like flies. 13-3 now on the side of Ruby.
Yeah, I mean, bad news bears if you're CB Rush. Absolutely looking very bad. And like we said, it's not over until the Nexus falls. But it's definitely not looking good right now.
No, it's definitely not. And the Vigor getting ahead is one of the worst things that can happen when you're trying to scale, because Vigor is very oppressive, and Ruby picking up the second dragon. It is going to be a Cloud Soul this game, so slightly less impactful. Dragon's not having to worry about so much, so that is good for the side of Rush, giving them time to scale and not having to worry too much about contesting these dragons. But yeah, it's looking worrying with Vigor already having so much damage on that Primordial Burst that potentially can one-shot you at any point in the game now.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like multiple champions can one-shot on the side of Ruby at the moment. You have Vigor, you have Graves, and you have Aatrox. Just putting out way too much damage. Oh.
Yeah, but the Vigor does get hooked, has to flash out. The Flay comes through, the cage on top of that, and the Chaos Storm following the Vigor, but the Karma shields with the Moonstone. The Super Mega Death Rocket does pick up the Vigor and trade it out in return, but now the Victor just getting demolished. The Solar Eclipse on no flash targets is so strong, and the Leona and Graves working in perfect unison to pick up kill after kill.
Yeah, they're working great in tandem right now, and you kind of had Leona just sniff around, seeing if she could find Jinx, but Jinx playing pretty smart there and just recalling next to the tower, as opposed to trying to walk away. Right.
And yeah, no, the Jinx obviously having to play the survival game. She is farming well, so is going to be relevant in some of these team fights. If the rest of your team is dying before you get a chance to shoot your big rockets, then obviously it is going to be quite difficult. But a good pick up there for the Super Mega Death Rocket, taking down the Vigor and getting a good shutdown, meaning that she is going to be relevant in these next fights. But how much can the rest of Rush do? Coming into this mid-game with 3 minutes on the next dragon and just 20 seconds on Baron, so no chance for the Rift Herald. What do you want to see happen in this mid-game? How do you want to see Rush recover?
Rush is, like we said, Rush is just going to have to play patient and, like, take a good team fight. Either take a good team fight or find a good pick. But it seems like their focus has been on Leona every time that they've tried to get a pick around Jinx. Without Kraken Slayer, it's not going to happen. Fetch isn't a thing. And I don't know who they killed. Did they try and kill Vigar? Like, because everybody else is really slippery on the side of Rush.
Yeah, and the fact that Graves has already got the Mercurial Scimitar completed means that the stuns from Lilia are now non-existent. He can't be hooked, he can't be CC'd, and any further CC after that does get reduced as well for a short period of time. So massive pickup there from Graves, really securing himself a strong lead, not being greedy and going into the full lethality build we often see, which is meaning he's able to snowball himself further ahead. And in the top lane, obviously, we have the Aatrox with the Seralda's Grudge finished as well, meaning that he's going to get so much armor penetration. There was one auto attack onto the Lilia there, and she's trying to get out, but the collateral damage comes through, taking her down, and the Victor taken down by the Aatrox at the same time in the bottom lane, and now the Scion is running for his life. The Moonstone is constantly going off, and now the Jinx is here with the Zap just to try and recover this. But once again, Jinx not able to get any of these fights.
Sugar Dad and Martial Arts are just sitting there playing the who can get more kills game right now. Both tied at 7. They're not letting one or another get ahead.
But this looks like another pickup here as the Zenith Blade comes through. A great connection there. The Flay not able to come through in time, and Sly having to walk away with his head held low as he walks back to the fountain just to heal up again.
This lead is just getting bigger, and there is less and less for Ruby to have to worry about taking before they can kind of just posture up, push out, and force the Baron.
Yeah, and the third dragon coming up in just 50 seconds. It wouldn't surprise me if Ruby are going to just secure that one for free as they try and funnel as much on the side of Rush into this Jinx as they can, trying to get her to that 2-item spike that we spoke about last game, when she can at least be slightly relevant. But the Aatrox and the Graves are so far ahead that one misstep will mean death for any of the champions on the side of Rush at the moment.
Man, I don't want to say that I'm speechless right now, because normally I never shut up, but I need to see some more action happen. And the Zenith Blade trying to jump out and tag Victor right there, which would have been another just like murderation. But here comes
yeah, and it looks like Rush are going for a last-ditch effort here, but Vigar and Aatrox have spotted them out, and they're just going to have to walk away. And it's a good attempt. I like the idea, but good coverage from the side of Ruby there, just to make sure they don't lose to a cheesy Baron and give them a chance back into this game as they now secure more of the enemy's jungle and just put themselves further and further in the lead. Jinx trying to pick up this red buff, but Aatrox is hungry. The Darkened Blade does miss. A good hook comes down, but is he able to survive? He flashes out, the Solar Eclipse comes through just to create some zoning space, and he's able to walk out. Has the burn flash. Bit greedy there, but overall, you know, asserting dominance from the top laner.
Like we said earlier, sometimes it's about sending a message.
And now, yeah, the Graves pushing the bot lane in by himself. Very confident to be pushing this and just to continue going. Like I said, he can't be CC'd really unless there is a big chain in which he can't cleanse. So he's free to do whatever he wants. And Graves is looking for a big pickup. This could be absolutely huge. Instant burst.
Oh, no.
End of the line for the Jinx. And a double kill for the Graves. He is definitely in the lead now. The Primordial Burst comes through. Vigar says, let me get some kills as well. But Graves flashes in, instantly destroys the Victor, and the unstoppable onslaught doesn't get stopped there by the Zenith Blade. Very lucky for the Scion, otherwise that would have been his life as well. 4 kills for Ruby, and 21-4 with an 11,000 gold lead at just 24 minutes.
Yeah, that's a lot of gold. Now, on the other hand, if we had Aatrox or Graves fall in like a really good fight for Rush, I would say that there might be a Lion's chance. Because those are huge shutdowns that would be going to somebody, and you would only hope that it would go to a carry. Otherwise, they're quickly running out of options to be able to win this match.
Yeah, they really are, and you know, this is what we spoke about, is you can scale and you can pick a scaling comp, but how much do you lose in the early and mid game, and is it detrimental? And you can just see they are running over the game as Fresh just gets trapped here, and they're going to leave it for the Aatrox. Obviously, like we said, having that competition on top and jungle, who can get more kills. 8 kills on the Aatrox, 10 kills on the Graves, and every time they are even looked at now, the champions explode. And they're just not able to pick up much more, as now they're going to push into the jungle again and pick up the chickens. Poor Lilia, she just wanted some KFC, but nothing for that for her tonight.
And it looks like we have a Baron being attempted, and this should go like uncontested. But Sion kind of on his own in the bot lane, trying to get some bounties.
Yeah, and Sion picking up whatever gold he can in the side lane right now would be wonderful. Lilia really needs to just go for a miracle steal, if anything, but decides to leave it. I think at this point in the game, I would say to go for that because there is nothing else to do. But big gold pickup, but it is just for Sion. Unfortunately, the objective bounty does go to the team, but the individual side lane gold just goes to Sion, and they stop his recall now, and he is just trapped inside a cage of death. The solar eclipse comes down just for good measure.
Yeah, I think the right play there was to teleport out.
Yeah, I mean, I think you know, when you've got Veigar and Leona in your vicinity, any form of CC does stop that teleport. So a bit unfortunate there, but you know, he picked up the tower, and that was his job there. It doesn't really matter at this point how many times they die, as long as they don't lose the game. So, you know, good gold pickup just to get himself something. But Veigar level 16 with 230 CS at 27 minutes. Looking like a force to be reckoned with on top of everyone else.
You haven't looked. Oh my goodness! What?
Lord, get Lilia some Jesus, because she is being sent to heaven right now. That was disgraceful. 2 shots from Graves' big shotgun, and an instant death there. As now the Leona is going to get hooked, but this is what we talk about. She is just an unbreakable fortress, especially with the Karma Shield. The Zenith Blade does miss. A Graves comes through with the end of the line. Doesn't manage to pick anything up there. It is just going to be a 1 for 0, but a big 1 for 0. And you see how much damage this Graves can do. Has the Collector, has the Lord Dominic's Regard. 3 penetration items, and that solar flare comes through, and a big engage as Box of Doom comes down from Fresh just to provide some space. And it's just disgraceful what is happening to Rush right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is a dominant like showing at the moment by Ruby. I mean, Red doesn't always win.
Yeah, no, unfortunately Red has to lose eventually, and you know, Graves pushing in as well now. Lilia looking for anything big. Flash.
Oh, that was a good
Is anything going to be followed up on? The Veigar does get hooked. Death sentence for him. Big shutdown onto the Lilia. The Jinx having to Gale Force away. Doesn't manage to get inside in time. And now the World Ender is here. 2 kills for him so far. And it is going to be a third Fresh. You can only run so far. Karma Shields as well. Doesn't manage to dash over the wall. So Fresh will get out alive if Aatrox doesn't chase him down. But it's just Sion and Fresh against the World Baron buff empowered minions. And Aatrox, Graves and Karma looking to end this game right now, as the Aatrox just gonna sit there and tank through the turret. The Sorola's Grudge doing so much damage to the Sion, meaning that all of his armor is pretty much useless. And the death sentence comes through onto the Aatrox. No minions left alive, so he might get taken down, but he has the death dance, he has the healing from the Gauldron. Can you see him just walk out scot-free? They're gonna go to the Cloud Dragon, get the soul, and regroup for a final push.
Yeah, I mean, and like we were saying earlier, this is very close to being over. Like, if it hasn't already been over for like the last 5 minutes, right? We're at a 13, almost 1400. Like, This is just, yeah, I mean, it is a dismantling of Rush.
It really
At
is.
the
And what a
moment.
way to assert your dominance after a strange game one where it certainly wasn't in character of these other two games, and they're showing right now that they are ready to turn up for the rest of this tournament and showing their dominance over the other CB team in the tournament in this big show match here tonight.
Yeah, just like we were saying. Now they're, well, hold on. They can get Soul if they want to, but they don't feel it's necessary. They're just looking to finish the game. I don't know what a Drake Soul would even help with if it's Cloud Drake at the moment, anyways.
Yeah, and you know, they can always go back and get it if they want to go heal up, but they just want to keep forcing this pressure, not giving them any time at all. And the Scion does get stuck in the cage. That's big damage once again. Obviously, compared to Scion's health pool, it's not massive, but anyone else dies there, so they have to be really careful as they're looking to posture for this final fight. And Scion stepping forward just to try and help clear the wave, but his doom is inevitable here as they're stepping up to take the inhibitor.
Yeah, and I mean, like we've been talking about, just a slow dismantling. They don't even have Aatrox there yet. He's just gonna slow walk up like a killer in Dead by Daylight.
And
oh
a
my
big
god!
Combo again from the Graves. The end of the line plus collateral damage does so much to the Primordial Burst coming through. The Locket being used. The Vigard does manage to take down the Victor as well. And now Leona is just stood taking the tower. The unstoppable onslaught comes through. But another great kill from the Vigard there. Taking down champions left, right and center with the Babel Strike. And the Graves doing so much damage, being very low though, and now the World Ender comes through from the Aatrox, just slapping the Lilia in place, and that will end the game 2-1 to CB Ruby.
And there you go. There's your GGs there. Like Ruby having a really good game 2 and game 3 in this one to basically like gain the momentum to take this game 3 handily, like more than handily. Like that was a crushing victory in the hands of CB Ruby, I'm not gonna lie.
It really was, and you know what? In game 1, Rush had the car, they had their foot deep on the pedal and they were going hard, but Ruby in the second game took the keys, and in the third game they put the car back in reverse and drove it straight back into Rush's garage, and they said good night and farewell. This is our game to win, this puts us ahead, and we are contenders for the top spots of this league. So great overall showing from Ruby, and a great comeback after being 1-0 down, and a dominant first game from Rush as well, which for me personally would have put me on edge.
Yeah, I would have definitely been on the back burner. They went to the comp that they know they're successful with, that they've won with before in Blue Water League. And then, like I said, after they, I wouldn't say it was a squeak by with the win, right? That was still a pretty good win. It just was nowhere near the amount of just what we just witnessed was.
And yeah, no, it was just such a good game. Like every game that I've been casting in Blue Water League at the moment, it's just been fantastic. Both teams again in this Hextech League showing so much fire and so much passion for the game itself, and you can really see it coming through in some of these plays. You know, like the Aatrox pick, such a good pick into Scion. The fresh Jinx, yeah, it was a great concept, but we spoke about this all game. Like you can scale, but you need a winning lane. Every lane, unfortunately, for Rush was losing that game, and it's a bit of a drafting issue. A Syndra or something could have done wonders for Rush here, but well played from both teams. I'm very happy to have casted this game with you tonight because they've both been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, no, I definitely enjoyed you pulling me kicking and screaming through this broadcast to get me through these 3 games like I've had in the past.
Yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic casting, and yeah, well played to Ruby, like I said, to pull it back from a 2-1 this evening. And thank you, as always, to production for having us and dealing with us while we talk absolute rubbish in all of our breaks. And thank you for all the viewers at home watching. We will, in just a second, I will let my lovely colorcasters say goodbye, but make sure you tune in to Blue Otter League 1, which is still ongoing at the moment. And thank you from me, and I will let my lovely co-caster hand us off.
Hey, like Rod just said right there, I'm Feedonomics. That was Raw. We really appreciate you guys tuning in for week 4. Thank you again. We can't wait to see you week 5. Come back and hang out with us. Make sure that everybody has a good night. You know, always pet your production cats on the way out. That's basically what I gotta say. So thank you all again, and have a wonderful evening.